What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Art of Partying. It is Saturday. We're ready to fucking do this. We got a big fucking show today. We got HHN news, music news, our weekly reviews, Creep Show 1 and 2, and so much more. To join me in the cavalcade of chaos today, UK Chris, as always.
How you doing?
And our very, very special guest. I promised him he finally made it. Anthony from Nights of Horror. Anthony, how you doing?
Cheers, guys. Cheers. It's fun to be in here, man. I'm excited. I get to drink. I get to be uncensored like always, and I love it. Let's have fun.
Definitely.
How was your weekend, gentlemen?
Oh, man. Last night I was at the over here in California. I'm friends with a lot of like the Queen Mary sliders and stuff and stuff. So last night we went out to a park called Chapman Park. It's where they all practice their sliding and stuff throughout the off season and stuff. So there was a little meetup last night. We all went there. Some people from out of town that I've podcasted with in the past. You know, I've met them in person for the first time. It was a lot of fun, man. Got there, hung out with some friends, and came home and knocked out. And now I'm awake. I got a beer in me at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm an alcoholic.
Hot damn.
Got to start it with an alcohol drink, mate.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm honest, guys, being a parent, my weekends on it's exciting as the pair of you. So I got a new freezer, and I think that's probably the most exciting thing I've
You're like,
had.
I can fit more food in the damn freezer finally.
Yes, that's the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Bacon and beans, bacon and beans.
There you go.
You put beans in the freezer, mate.
Yeah, you don't put beans in the freezer. You put them in the freaking cupboard because they're in the can, and then you heat them up.
Well, what happens if you already made the beans?
You put them in the
fridge. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I'm going to pull them out of the fridge and put them in the microwave. I don't know what I said. See, now I'm all fucked up.
He's already drunk. He's already drunk. That's it.
Yeah,
half the beer and I'm already gone. Speaking of beer, lady, what are you guys drinking today?
I got
I'm on
myself
the-
a. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
on crap.
He's got the good UK stuff probably.
What are you
I'm
drinking, Chris? I'm sorry.
I'm a Mexican, so I'm drinking Corona. Good old Corona imported from Mexico itself. Good Mexican beer right here.
It's a good drink. It's a good drink.
Mm-hmm.
To support my local craft brewery here in Chicago, I am drinking Maplewood.
Oh, sounds good.
Their Bit Crusher Session IPA.
Mm.
Let me tell you something, gentlemen. This is probably one of the lightest IPAs I've ever drank, for it being 4.5 alcohol percent.
What's the most beers you can go without getting fucking hammered?
Drinking anything that's American, it's got a light next to it.
Yeah. What about you, man?
Probably 12 pack, maybe. Yeah. Probably a 12 pack.
So, it's gonna be funny. You guys are gonna laugh when you hear this. I'm only 22. I'm gonna be 23 in a couple weeks, and I've been drinking since I turned 21. I still don't know my limits. I've drank 9 Coronas one time, and I've gotten a light buzz, but I've never been blacked out drunk or drunk. So I don't know what I'm capable of yet.
Well, Anthony, mate, next time when you ever get across the pond,
Yeah,
you come to the UK and taste the volume of beer you get here, and I could always show you the road, my friend. I'll show you what a blackout night's like.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, the UK, man, they're known for their freaking pubs and whatnot,
Oh.
man. A lot of my favorite bands started in a lot of those local pubs, man. So that's why I want to go to the UK for the freaking, because I'm a music guy and all my favorite British heavy metal rock bands and everything came from the UK. So I want to go check it out.
Yeah, you enjoy all that, you know what I mean? And you guys would like, I live in Wales, but I'm not far from England, but you guys probably like all the historic stuff like castles, because guys don't have that sort of stuff over in America. So
Yeah,
over
dude.
here, in Wales we have a shit ton of castles.
The only castle I see all the time is at fucking Disneyland, and I'm tired of seeing it.
I was going to say, I alluded to this on Twitter, on the Art of Party in Twitter, when he brought up about the drinking. This is my brainchild. We'll see how this goes. We're planning when we go to Florida next year. We'll be there the 26th to October 1st of 2022. We are trying to get together and have the first annual inaugural Art of Party and Beer Bash. It will be held at the Polynesian Hotel, Trader Sam's. If you guys want to meet us, Anthony will be there and a couple other YouTube contenters. We will party up, meet the fans.
I will be planning my trip accordingly next year then.
Yep, we'll party it up at Trader Sam's because that just opened up.
Yeah.
And I think you said you've never been there, and I know for a fact Lost TV said he hasn't been there.
Yeah, I know we have one out here in California in at the Disneyland Hotel, and that just recently opened up just because, with COVID and stuff. But
Yeah.
that just recently opened back up, so a lot of people can go out there, and a lot of people went out there. That's actually one of the only places you can get a spiked Dole Whip.
Yeah.
So,
Do you care to explain this to me, like? Cause,
a Dole Whip float is basically a pineapple. It's pineapple juice with like a pineapple ice cream,
right.
and they spike it with a little bit of Fireball.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, without it spiked on if you ever come out here and go to any of the Disneys, whether it be Florida or California, it's a must. You have to try a Dole Whip float. I know in California we have an area where we have multiple flavors of Dole Whip, but the original is always the pineapple. But if you ever want to try it spiked, just throw a little Fireball in there at the Trader Sam's and they'll do it for you.
I mean, I'm up for anything, got to try something different once in a while. Like, I'm 35, so, I got to go and try these things.
Just like at Universal, they got the spiked butterbeer, man, from Harry Potter. It's butterbeer with the a shot of Fireball as well. So
that sounds look. I think I'll be drinking that day when we're at Harry Potter.
Yeah,
if I can get away with it.
Yeah, come on. You're on holiday. You got to let your hair down a bit, like.
Yeah. A little Fireball with that butterbeer alone is already fucking delicious, and to add Fireball to it makes it it gives it a little bit more of a that's good.
Yeah, you need a bit of that. You don't know samey sort of boring sort of drink. Do you? You need something.
I think overall, drink of choice though, man. I'm classic. I'm a huge Motorhead fan, and Lemmy, man, rest in peace. God rest his soul. That guy.
Hey, Lemmy lived around where I live now.
Yeah. And Lemmy is a fucking legend, but he owns Jack and Coke. That's my go-to drink. And now every time I have a Jack and Coke, I just call it the Lemmy. I'm having a Lemmy. So.
Yeah, I think his mother still lives locally.
Yeah. His mother. Wow.
Yeah,
she's still walking around, huh? That's awesome.
I think so. I don't think she seems to want to bump into people.
Yeah.
I remember Lemmy because where I live in Wales, he made a statement just before he died, asking where he lived and stuff, and he said about he lived in Wales in
awesome.
Colwyn Bay. It's called Colwyn Bay, yeah, so it's Welsh. Right. And he's like, I'm not ever going back. It's a shithole. The thing is, like, most people pride themselves where they live. Us around here, we're like, yeah, we agree. Yeah, it's a shithole.
Dude, here's how awesome Lemmy is, man. Luckily for us, in California, we've watched so many great, talented people come and go. Oh. And Lemmy lived in he lived in Hollywood, lived in a fucking, and you got to imagine this guy goes on tour since the fucking late 70s.
Yeah.
Before that was a guitar tech for, I think, Hendrix.
Yep.
And
played bass for Hawkwind.
Yeah. So this guy has made so much money up until he died. But the guy chose to live in a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's proper English for you.
Proper English for you. And not only that, dude, he did not have to ever change his image. Lemmy was who Lemmy was. Lemmy never changed for anybody, never changed for the industry. And he would go across the street. Right across was the infamous bar, the Rainbow Room.
Yep.
I've only drove past there, never been inside of it. I want to make a trip just to go inside of it one day.
I heard the stories about that place.
Dude, he would show up. If he wasn't touring, he'd be there almost every day. There was a little game machine he would always play with his Jack and Coke, his cigarettes, and he'd be playing his game. And most of the time, no one would bother him. Every now and then, people would come up and ask for a picture and stuff. But for a lot of the time, if people knew he was playing that game with his Jack and Coke and his smokes, no one bothered him. Like it was just like a regular person coming in and just hanging out. So
yeah, the funny thing is how you explain it, Anthony. Like that's a really typical British person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're notorious. You see on TV shows they have the newspapers, don't they? And they sit in the corner of the bar or the pub, and and they wouldn't be left alone. And that is really, in hindsight, is what a lot of the British people are like. The male side of things is
right
when they go to pubs, they just want to sit in the corner and do their thing, and if they've come alone and not be bothered. So it hats off that he's carried that, and until
it's
the
in the US,
died.
yeah, and he just kept it going, man. He just liked to, he was a simple guy, didn't want much of life. He already had it all, and
Yeah.
he just wanted to live a simple life. And when he was not touring, he just wanted to fucking do him. He'd go home, play. He had he was a classic video game guy, so he had a classic Nintendo and stuff. He'd go play, and
Nice.
I watched the whole documentary on him. I think it's literally just called Lemmy, and it came out 2013, and that was just his life, and he was a simple guy. And hats off to Lemmy, man. I mean, cheers to Lemmy. Dude.
Cheers.
Yeah, I love Lemmy.
I loved his flat though. His one bedroom. Well, you call it apartment, but we would call it a flat over here.
Yeah.
It's just full of memorabilia. All that
shit.
He was a big time collector, man. Toys, games, whatever. Like he was, on stage. He put on, of course, his Motorhead Lemmy image where he was, badass, and that carried on to even off stage. He was the same person, but you saw more of his geek side, which I loved.
Yeah, it was surprising as well. Like, 'cause you don't know much. Until I watched that documentary, I didn't know that side of him. When you go into his apartment and you see his shelves upon shelves of all that, and you're like, I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah,
So,
he's God rest his soul, man. One of the greatest one of the greatest singers, arguably, in a metal band, and greatest bass players ever. And I still listen to his music to this day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he made a bass sound that no one else has ever done, and that's his sound. And God rest his soul. The guy had a great fucking music. The band was awesome, and he loved his fans. So we're just gonna have to carry on his legacy,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If he had his way, they would be called the Bastards. They wouldn't have been called Motorhead.
Yeah. I would have been okay with either one. Honestly.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, Motorhead's a great name, but the Bastards would have even been a fucking cooler name, because you would see patches of people with the Bastards on their vests and stuff. So
I will say this though: when we're at Trader Sam's, those zombies are calling my name. Now I can only have a few because I realize you're shaking your head because I'll get fucked up if I go past 3. I still got Halloween Horror Nights. I can't go overboard there. Now, but if a generous fan wants to, if a generous fan wants to buy that tequila flight, that's not my problem. Oh no, I'm sorry, the rum flight, that's for $20. That's not my problem. I'll indulge a little bit, but yeah.
You know what you can do when you go there? Get a tablet, stick me on like a teddy, and then put me in a corner, and then I'll sit in the corner with you.
just like Lemmy used to do, man. Boom.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We'll go. I'll put a Jack and Coke right there for you, but I'll probably end up drinking it. So
Fine. Well, just pretend I've drunk it then.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, let's get into music of the week. We have a lot to talk about this. We have the new Iron Maiden album.
British heavy metal. There you go. Iron Maiden. Love them.
Have you guys seen them live?
I've seen them twice live.
I've seen them.
I love to afford it, but I can't. They're very expensive here.
Yeah, I saw them at Leeds Festival in 2005.
I saw them on the Book of Souls tour, 2016, 2017.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. They are interesting. They're not my style. I think they're a bit too mellow for me.
Right.
But I do appreciate their music. I don't know if you heard of a band called Dinosaur Jr.
Yes, I've heard of them.
I've heard of them.
They played just before them.
Okay.
And obviously Iron Maiden was straight after, so it was proper nostalgia sort of, of, I call it cock rock because I still think it's cheese as well. It's not really for me, but like again, I'm a musician myself, so I do appreciate everything.
Yeah, I saw them. When I saw them, who opened for them? I think Ghost opened for them the second time I saw them. That's the one I remember the most. And Ghost, man, talk about a fucking band. I mean, at the time I wasn't a huge fan, but over the years I've started listening to their music, and they're very experimental how they approach heavy metal music today, and I love their sound and stuff. But it was funny because you go to an Iron Maiden show, right? Iron Maiden's the headliners,
Yes.
but a majority of the people that were at that show were wearing Ghost t-shirts, and I was like, we're at a fucking Iron Maiden show. Like, I understand you're Ghost fans, but we're here for Maiden. We're not here for Ghost. I saw Ghost, and then before them was Exodus. Oh my god, dude.
Boy.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you guys know Exodus, there's this famous video on the line online where they do the Wall of Death. I don't know if you guys seen this,
I went
I've been
to
on-
an Exodus show.
I've been in them all to death.
Yes.
Very nice.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
Painful.
moment. It is painful. But so you know, at their show when they play the title track Exodus, they split the crowd in half and they call for a wall of death at a certain point of the song. I had seen this online, same band and everything, and I was like, oh, dude, when I heard him say that, I was like, I got to be a part of this. Like, this may be my only one time I get to be a part of this. And sure enough, like, I went, and like my buddy, he doesn't pit at all. But then he saw that I went, and he like, I was by myself, and then like 5 seconds later, I get a tap on my shoulder, and it's him right behind me. So we fucking go full. It was one of the funnest things I've ever been a part of, dude. It was so fun.
I saw Exodus. Go ahead, Chris.
No, it's fine. I'll go after.
I saw Exodus. Oh my God. I saw them when they were opening up for Hatebreed. This is back when they still had Rob in the band. I was blown away by them.
Yeah.
And then excuse me, I lie. I saw Exodus 3 times. Twice with Rob, and then when Zetros came back.
Right.
Wait till you hear this bill. So when I saw them at the first 2 times, it was at the House of Blues. The first time was, wow, this is my first time seeing them. I'm like, yeah, and they were killing it. Right. Second time, they opened up for Anthrax. That was some sick shit.
Dude, Anthrax right there, boom. That's why I wore the hat.
Oh, hell yeah.
I knew we were going to be talking heavy metal.
A great show.
I've seen Anthrax about 2 or 3 times, and their shows are second to none, dude. The pits are fun. The energy's there. It was funny. The first time I ever saw Anthrax, it was the anniversary of them opening up for Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow.
So, you know how a lot of bands, when they, especially Iron Maiden to be an example, before they start, they have that song that like signifies like, okay, they're about to start.
Yeah.
With Iron Maiden, that's Doctor by UFO. Fucking great band, by the way. With Anthrax, because it was the anniversary of them doing the Number of the Beast tour opening for Iron Maiden, they played Number of the Beast before they came out.
Oh,
and
nice.
So people in the fucking in the theater we were in were fucking losing their shit, and you can hear everyone singing along and stuff. It was so fun, dude. I had a great time.
I've seen the opposite. I seen Public Enemy, and I saw them with Beastie Boys.
Oh,
that was really interesting. Obviously, it was one of the last times Beastie Boys toured in the UK. Because obviously,
I'm so jealous right now. I've always wanted to see the Beastie Boys so bad, dude. I love it.
It's seen 2 at the same time, isn't it? They're still iconic. Public Enemy. You know, they
Beastie Boys.
I wasn't even sure who was supporting. I just like my mate just said, "Oh, Beastie Boys are playing, so yeah, you got to be going." Like, but yeah, and then the Public Enemy opened up for them, and you're like, "Fucking hell."
Yeah, dude. No, yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of great bands over the years, man. And we're gonna get into that later, but I mean, I've seen a lot of. I've been when I graduated high school and I finally got a job. It was make money, go to concerts because I didn't get to go to them in high school, so I'm going to them as an adult. You know what I mean? So
and
that's the way it is, though, isn't it?
And with the new Maiden album, I'm hearing guys already bitching. It's too long. It's too long. It's too long. It's not the same Maiden. It's like, gentlemen, why are you complaining? They're experimenting. I just. You got the diehard Maiden fans, and then you got the Maiden fans that come in and go. Let me tell you something. A lot of people shit on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Let me tell you, I love that album.
That's a great album. I
love that album, and I love No Prayer for the Dying. Those are my top 2 favorite Maiden albums.
Yeah.
Fight me on that.
Yeah.
Leave comments on that.
They, you know what? I am a fan of old school Maiden. Even before Bruce joined the band, those first 2 albums are fucking amazing. But when Bruce joined the band, he brought a whole new style to the band that will forever be carried on to this day. And when I heard this new song, at first I didn't like it. I was very iffy about it. Yeah, because it was something new, and it's hard. You know, if you're an old school fan, it's hard for you to get into the new stuff. You know, The old school sound, it was something that at that time when it came out, no one's ever heard of. It was fucking amazing. Those amazing, those first songs are always going to be the best in anyone's heart. But like I wasn't a big fan of Book of Souls. I liked a few songs, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. This new song, I didn't like it in the beginning, but I listened to it a couple times. I fucking love the music video. The animation in that music video is beautiful.
That video looks cool.
That video is
Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't like the new song at first, but I heard it a couple times, and it's starting to grow on me. But the album cover, they released the album cover, and it's like a Samurai Eddie, and I
Yeah.
was like, that is probably by far one of the most bitchin' Eddies we've gotten in a long time.
Since oh man, I have to say since
Because hands down, my favorite Eddie, and this is a no-brainer for a lot of fans. I love Trooper Eddie. Trooper Eddie is my favorite.
my favorite Eddie has to be Cyborg Eddie from Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time was a great album too.
Chris, do you have a favorite Eddie?
No. I just explained to you that.
I know.
Listen, I just explained to you at the beginning. They're too mellow for me. They're not. I mean, again, I appreciate what they do, but I'd rather listen to Metallica stuff over them.
I'm a huge Metallica fan.
There's just some things you grew up with, isn't it?
Definitely
Trooper Eddie.
That's everyone's favorite little brother. Everybody.
I would say if
Taking a break.
it's not that Eddie, a lot of people also like the Number of the Beast album too. Number of the Beast has a fucking great Eddie as well of him. I mean, if you really pay attention to that album next time you look at it, you got a small Eddie, the devil pulling the strings of that Eddie, and then Eddie pulling the strings of the devil. So it's like, who's really pulling the strings there? Like that's a really cool album cover. But
Sounds like a Guitar Hero scene.
exactly right. But you know, the thing with Maiden and another band, 100% approve the Samurai 82. I couldn't agree more. The thing about album covers, and there's a lot of bands that do a lot of great artwork. Maiden.
I'm gonna jump in there, Anthony, mate.
Go ahead.
Mudvayne LD50, one of the best covers for an album ever.
Yeah.
I have to disagree with you, gentlemen. I think the best. I'm just going to say this right now. Nothing will ever beat Cannibal's Tomb of the Mutilated. I'm sorry, nothing's beating that.
I don't know, man. I mean, Holy
As
Diver.
far as brutality,
Ronnie James Dio, Holy Diver. That fucking album
that's
cover
another one.
is
Yeah,
a fucking. I mean, a lot of his album covers were great. He had that giant fucking monster thing, you know, and it just looks beautiful. It's an iconic classic. But I think between Dio and Maiden, they've always had some of the best iconic artwork for their covers, man. Like people will buy those albums just to collect it for the artwork. You know what I mean? Like they can care less about what the songs are. They just want the artwork.
Not Black Album or White Album, no.
Yeah, right.
I was just thinking more as controversial. I say Cannibals beats anything because man, did they get busted? They got busted hard.
I don't know, you know, man. LD50 has a naked child on the front cover.
True, but
You know,
I mean, you're talking about a girl that's splayed out, and
if you want to go a little more alternative rock grunge scene, so does fucking Nirvana. You know what I mean?
completely.
With Nevermind, they have the kid swimming and full blown penis showing and everything.
Yes.
So.
yep.
Yeah. And I think recently, like in the last couple of years, that kid actually like came out and spoke about that too, like how it's always ruined his life growing up and shit. And I was like, oh, that sucks,
Fucking curse.
Yeah.
man.
I'm sure he got paid handsomely for it, and probably still does to this day.
Yeah, it probably gets a lot of royalties and stuff from it. But I mean, that's my goal next is, you know, I love horror to the death, but I've always considered a lot of metal and punk that can connect well to the horror scene. And another one thing I want to do is just travel the world and go to a famous, like I've been to Seattle, so I've seen a lot of the grunge and alternative scene was born there. California, obviously you have a lot of iconic bands that's come out of California, like The Doors, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica was in California. You know, all these great bands started in California. Megadeth,
The Bay Area thrash scene.
Bay Area thrash scene, punk scene as well was big in the Bay Area as well.
You had a good pop punk scene as well in California.
Yeah, I'm a huge, and that's another thing. I don't just like. I mean, I love metal to the core, thrash, everything. I love punk though too. I'm a huge punk guy. Like I'm a huge Misfits guy, and I got that tatted on me. So
nice.
I love the Misfits. I love Rancid. I love Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. You know, one of my favorite. I mean, I'm yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I like them all, and one of my favorites too. I'm a huge fan of the Irish punk scene too.
Oh,
and
Dropkick Murphy.
Dropkick Murphys, man. Yeah,
they
I've seen them in concert, dude, and they
put on I saw them at Leeds Festival. And,
I just love
them at the Warped Tour.
Yeah, I saw them. They did, I think, a co-headlining tour with Rancid.
Oh man, that had to be good.
I think it was called From Boston to Berkeley, which they're doing again now. But it was such a great show. But I love how experimental Dropkick is with, of course, the banjo and everything. Like they really go all out, especially. I mean, I'm a huge movie guy too. So when I first heard Shipping Out to Boston in that film, The Departed,
Brilliant film.
yes, I lost my shit, dude. Like a 20-minute intro, and then at the 20-minute mark, we finally get the title of the film, like, and it's Dropkick all the way there. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. But it's
Speaking
suited
of
the whole scene though, going up though.
Yeah, just building up. It's like it's just all instrumental, and then finally he says, "I'm a centipede," and then fucking it gets into the
that's
film.
it,
You know, yeah. So it's yeah. I love music. I love films. I love it all, man. I could talk for fucking days about that
It all
shit.
comes together though, doesn't it? It all like
It does. In the end of the day, especially like I've always said, one of the mazes that I want to see at Halloween Horror Nights one year is a Misfits maze, because Misfits to me are the
badass.
are the iconic Halloween punk band. Like when you think of Halloween, you think of the Misfits. You know what I mean? Because the Misfits wrote so many songs about horror, Halloween, classic monsters, and I would love to see them. I would love to see Maiden as a freaking Halloween Horror Nights maze. You know, just having
1 year. We'll get into the Halloween the HHN news in a little bit later on. But didn't 1 year they do an Alice Cooper maze?
They did 2 Alice Cooper mazes.
If I remember serves me correctly.
The very first year I went out here in Hollywood, they did Alice Cooper Welcome to My Nightmare, and the second year they did Alice Cooper Go to Hell. And then the year after that, they did Black Sabbath 13 3D, which
really? Okay.
By far was one of the best music mazes I ever went through. And then the year after, they did a more original concept maze, which with Slash called Clowns 3D, where it was all music and score written by him. Since then, Slash is no stranger to the event anymore. He does all of our Universal Monster scores for our mazes. So
that's sick shit,
dude. You get a chance on Spotify, wherever you listen. Universal Monsters, they have his score from Universal Monsters. It is some of the greatest things I've ever heard. Like that guy is such a talented fucking guitar player that the fact that he could score a maze like blows me away every year that I go through those mazes.
Slashes are one of a kind.
Yeah,
there will never be another Slash.
UK as well.
I mean, I was fortunate enough in 2016 for a graduation present. I got a ticket to go see Guns N' Roses when they reunited, and of course,
you lucky bastard.
It was such a good show, honestly. But you know, you really do show up to go see Slash. That's the main reason why you really go to a Guns N' Roses concert.
Yeah, people might argue with that, but I agree with you. But I think a lot of people might argue.
A lot of people will argue with it. Yeah, Axl's voice, but I was fortunate.
Down below, people, if you want to argue this with us.
Yeah, do you guys go see Guns N' Roses for just Slash? I mean, that was my majority reason. I wanted to hear a lot of the hits,
agree with you there.
Yeah. I mean, Slash. It sounds, everything you hear on the album sounds exactly how you hear in concert. It's second to none, and he extends solos and stuff. The guy can just sit out there and play all night if he could. But I was fortunate enough. We saw that at beautiful Dodger Stadium. I know you're
nice.
Yeah. So we got to see that at Dodger Stadium, and we were fortunate enough to actually get the full original lineup, because the drummer for a couple songs came out. The original drummer from Guns N' Roses came out and played a couple songs with them. So
Steven, yeah,
that was so cool to see that, dude. So
you guys got Dodger Stadium. Chris got Wembley. Unfortunately, all we have is the United Center and Rosemont Horizon.
I don't technically have Wembley. Don't forget, I'm up in Wales.
Like, that's your biggest stadium there.
That's like a good 8-hour trip down. Like,
what'd you give?
Do you go? So, Chris, do you go see like when WWE comes in town? Do you go see it or no?
I haven't been, right, and you're gonna hate me for this, right? Because I've moved on from wrestling. But last time I saw WWE would have been fucking hell, 2003.
Okay, no, that's when it was good.
But so. I got to see Stone Cold come out, and I'm a massive right. I have to term it for yourselves, but I'm a massive soccer fan. So I have football my eyes, and I go to a lot of games, so I know what it's like. When let's say my team's Everton, we're in Florida at the moment in the Florida Cup, actually.
Right.
When we score, so I know what it's like with 40,000 people screaming. Yeah. But it's different when Stone Cold's glass hit, and you've got 30,000 people going crazy. And I said to my cousin who does Stu Palmer's wrestling podcast, really good, and go listen to that on Spotify and YouTube.
Right.
But I'd always said to him, that's the loudest I've ever been. And you know what I mean? And heard people go crazy over one person, like, and it was amazing.
You've obviously never been to a Slayer show, then.
I've been to a Slayer show.
Have you been to a Slayer show?
I've seen Slayer. I've said this last week to Albert. I've seen Slayer twice.
Before we get into that, gentlemen, I just want to before we get into that, Chris, you about Mark I want to bring up Mark Hoppus's condition of his cancer. What are we looking at here? How's he doing?
Actually, funny enough, you brought this up last night before I went to bed. He was on Twitch, so he was playing some old Blink songs on his bass. So I thought, I'd click on, have a listen, and we spoke about it yesterday. So he said the chemo's working.
Okay.
Good.
So,
very good.
The world needs Blink 182, dude. They
do.
Another
California band.
And I was fortunate enough. Actually, I got to see them by accident. I got invited from my buddy to go see K-Rock's Weenie Roast back in the day, 2015, 2016. And they were a surprise band. They weren't announced on the thing. Like, they just came out by surprise. No one knew they were coming. And I got to see them in concert. There's another story I will get to a little bit later when we talk about some intense concerts. But I was supposed to see them at another show. Then something fatal happened. And I never got a chance to go see them that second time. So...
He seems like he's I think the way he was speaking yesterday on Twitch that he was he's positive. I think he's remained positive, and I said this to my other half, and when we were watching it yesterday, how he's remained positive, and he's to go in front of the camera and to have and he's stage 4 as well, which is the worst you can get when it comes to cancer. But to come on camera and still do what he does, whether it's games or him just playing bass or just chatting to your viewers and your fans, you got to put your hats off for him, because not a lot of people would have balls or the power to get up in front of a camera and actually speak about the cancer, because he was really open last night about it. How he felt, how he got it.
It takes a big toll on people. It does. My uncle was diagnosed with a couple years ago with prostate cancer. Right. And I could tell when he got that news, his attitude changed, his everything changed. So it does take a toll on people. It really does. And cancer is the fucking shittiest thing in the world. It really is. Exactly. And I'm gonna get a little conspiracy theory here, but I fucking know the U.S. government has a fucking cure for that shit. They will not release that because they make so much fucking money in the pharmaceutical business that they will not fucking release it. And that's the fucked up thing, because they could be saving millions of lives.
I might have to jump with you here, because I've always said this about the Queen and everyone, the royals never seem to get anything majorly ill.
Right? Exactly. And the Queen has been around for fucking years, man. She is never gonna die. And I fucking I look at her, I'm like, she is immortal. Like, she's not going anywhere.
I think Prince Charles will be a bit pissed off if she doesn't, but they never seem, I always say this, they never seem to get, you never hear about anyone in the royals ever get cancer. Ever.
I'm telling you, dude, they have a cure for cancer out there. They do. And what's funny is
get millions and millions of pounds or dollars in your case.
Right.
Why haven't they found a cure yet?
No, and it's because they make so much money off the fucking pharmaceutical world. Medicine and the therapy, they make so much money off that they're not gonna. They have a cure. I know they do. They're just not gonna release it. And it's sad because it could save millions of lives, but.
And my old man, had his battle with cancer, and I know that feeling, and there was times where I thought I was going to lose him, but thank God he's still here. And Mark Hoppus, I hope you're doing good.
Yeah.
We miss you.
Yeah, definitely.
Come back shortly.
I hope you.
I'd great to be, but I need to go and get one.
I know, I'm out too. Although I shouldn't be drinking too much at fucking 12 in the afternoon. I don't want to be drunk by 2.
Yeah, my missus just said then it's always happy hour somewhere.
Exactly. No, exactly. And right now it'd be happy hour for us probably.
Exactly.
A bit later for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed watching him yesterday, but it's good to watch him in good spirits. And he said he was going for a walk today and he hasn't been out, so it's good that he can go and do stuff like that. And and I hope he can beat it properly and then he can get back on tour, and we can get Tom DeLonge back at Blink 182 as well. Nothing wrong with Matt, but Blink's not the same, is it?
Matt Skipa? Yeah. That's Chicago royalty you're talking about, brother.
I know that. I love Alkaline Trio, but what I mean? Certain bands just...
I have to disagree on Alkaline Trio. I saw them open for the Misfits, and it may have just been the experience I had, but their guitars were just so goddamn loud I can barely hear them singing.
Skipa's known for that.
I thought they were good. I saw them
However, I was on the fucking barricade, so the fucking guitar was coming right at me, and I couldn't hear shit.
you're
So
right.
it's
Yeah.
like, actually, the security guard was cool enough. He gave me fucking earplugs because it was that bad. So I was like, all right, cool. And I normally don't wear earplugs at a concert, but that
I
was
never wore
fucking
earplugs.
that was fucking brutal. And I was just like, I can't do this the whole fucking time they're doing their set. Like I gotta wear something.
Christ,
So-
imagine you were up that close with Motorhead because Lemmy was notorious.
Oh,
for making
shit, they're
everything
loud.
Yeah, but with Motorhead, I would have been okay with it because that's Lemmy's bass sound, dude. And I know I'm
All the way
gonna be
up.
expecting. Yeah, I know I'm gonna be expecting something loud from them, dude. It's only, but I more than likely I wouldn't be on the barricade. I'd probably be in the pit for
Oh
Motorhead.
no! Oh no! When I saw them at the Metro with Exodus and King Diamond, no, it was. Oh no! I'm sorry. It was Megadeth. The guitarist told him, "Do you mind if we turn this up louder?" And they cranked it. So
By
is
all
everyone
means,
going to get
do
another
it.
beer.
Yeah. I've never seen Megadeth. I want to see Megadeth. That's the only
I
band of the big four I have not seen.
I haven't seen Metallica actually.
I was fortunate enough to see them twice on the Hardwire World
They
Wire
don't
tour.
seem to come up north. They always play like when I say north, I'm saying like the Liverpools and Manchester. They always play down south in London way. And it's
You
just
would think too. Liverpool and Manchester has a big following too. They
yeah,
would.
they
and
do. Yeah, they just don't ever seem to come up this way.
They should. They I think they're one of the only bands that's ever hit every continent in the world. They even played a show in fucking Antarctica. So
Oh yeah, that legendary bullshit.
yeah. So they did it all, man. I love Metallica though to the core.
Did you enjoy the latest album or?
I liked Hardwired. I really did. Because I always say anything is better than Saint Anger. Anything is
God.
better than Saint Anger.
Oh, God,
Anything.
that piece of shit album.
Um,
Whew,
and then when they came back
Oof.
with
that was rough.
what was it? Was it Death Magnetic?
Yeah,
And they
Oh.
did that album. It wasn't bad, but it was a way better step than it was from Saint Anger. So
there was no solos in Saint Anger. Wasn't Metallica. I understand that they probably were trying something different.
I don't
But-
know what Lars was thinking with that snare drum. Like, what the fuck was going on there?
Yeah, you know what? Being a drummer myself, and I used to call it sounded like a church bell. When
Right.
they made a dong dong, I hated it. I like a thud. And I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want to echo in my snare drum.
Yeah. No. So
Yeah.
when I listened to Hardwired, I was like, okay, they're kind of going back to what they used to do. We're looking at like a sound similar to Injustice for All, but more
One of
modern.
my favorite albums.
I love
Injustice is great, dude. No bass, but it's still great.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Now, does you gentlemen need another beer?
You know what? I'm gonna hold off right now. I got my vape, so I'm good.
I'll leg
Okay.
it to the fridge then.
Let
There
me
you go.
run. We'll be right up. You know what? I'll hang here for a bit. We're gonna wait for Chris. I'm gonna go grab another beer. Plug away if you want to, Anthony.
So I'm having a good time here. So of course, always follow these guys. They're doing a great program here, and it's fun, good time. You can find me on YouTube, the Nights of Horror. I post. If you guys are fans of the SoCal haunt scene, I'm located in California, so if you're fans of that, come check us out. We not only do SoCal haunts, we do horror in general. So if you guys are just horror fans, just come check us out. If you guys want to see something new in a different state, come check us out, man. We have a lot of fun here. Interview a lot of scare actors out here in SoCal, so it's a lot of fun. You get to dive deep into them. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, the Nights of Horror on Instagram and Nights of Horror on Twitter, because Twitter would not let us put the part in it because it was too long. So thank you, Twitter. Appreciate that. And yeah, we just had a good time, have a lot of fun time. Good time. A lot of good stuff. Perfect
Anthony.
timing.
Anthony, mate,
What's up?
before we move into any other segments for Albert set up for us today, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? How
Yes,
did you
let's
become-
talk about that. I'm going to take this banner down, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back to the music in a bit, but go on, Anthony.
Yeah, basically started the channel up in 2017. Always been a fan of horror haunts. First year, like I said, first year I went to Horror Nights was in 2011. 2011, first year I ever went to Horror Nights, fell in love with it, and became a haunt junkie since then. And 2017, I finally launched a channel to give my thoughts about Horror Nights, it was mostly just about Horror Nights.
Right.
And then I finally, in 2018, started transitioning more into like horror and other haunts and stuff. We started our podcast in 2018 called the Mindless Horror Podcast. It's been going. We're about to almost hit 150 episodes pretty soon.
Nice.
But we've been doing
Check
that
out,
for
everybody.
yeah, Spotify, Google, anywhere you can stream podcasts. You get your audio version. YouTube is the video. Our latest thing as of late, since 2019, is we started transitioning to making Mindless Horror Podcast more of a talk show, kind of like your typical late night talk shows that you see everywhere. And we interview a lot of people in the haunt industry, scare actors, to get a in-depth view of behind the scenes of the haunts you love going to, or the characters that these people portray. So it's been a fun time doing a lot of that. I got to meet a lot of amazing, unique people. I've gotten to be friends with a lot of these people, and it just makes the haunt when I go to them 10 times more funner because I know who they're playing and I get to see them work as they talk about it. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, we cover everything SoCal haunts, whether it be major haunts, home haunts, whatever it may be, we cover it. And then also, we like to talk about horror too. So we'll cover every now and then we'll do some movies. We'll go on the paranormal side of things. We're huge fans of ghost hunting and stuff. So we'll look at that, and we just have a fun time, man. It's good vibes, positive vibes. I'm at the point in my time where I don't really, I'm done with bullshit. I'm just over it. So my motto is you either like me or you don't. So
you can't go any wrong with that, really.
Yeah, it's like you either like my content or you don't. If you don't,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but that's just who we are, man. So
I feel you there. I feel you there. Definitely.
Your new video I was watching before we went on earlier today. Who was that gentleman that you interviewed?
For Haunters React?
Yeah, that's the latest video he has on YouTube, everybody.
Yeah. Haunters React. There was a show that this week, actually, I just came up with the idea this week. We're fastly approaching haunt season. We're getting announcements left and right, and I thought it'd be fun to bring on some scare actors that I know, friends of mine, and get them to react to some of their favorite mazes. It doesn't have to be the event they work at. It could be any maze that either messed them up or they had a good time and just memorable about it. So we're going to be reacting to videos like walkthroughs of haunts in the SoCal area, or if they've been to other haunts in other states, I'll find them. We'll react to them. And the gentleman in the video was he goes by the name Cavities at Haunt. He works at Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, one of the big four SoCal haunts out here that a lot of people go to. Queen Mary, a lot of fucking history with that boat, but he works at Queen Mary's Dark Harbor. He's part of the slider team there, and we got him on the show. He was our debut episode, and we asked him, what maze you want to react to, and then he gave us the story behind it. I won't share the story. The story is really funny. I'd rather you guys go check it out. But
check it out.
Hear what he has to say about it. But he reacts to the maze Trick or Treat Lights Out at Knott's Scary Farm over here in Buena Park, California, and there's a reason why he didn't like the maze so much, and it was a lot of fun.
I saw that video. I saw something. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but there's some stuff in there that even I kind of like.
Yeah. So when we were at the slider rink last night, I hit up a lot of the scare actors there, and I was like, "Listen, I'm doing this show for leading up to opening day of haunt season. I would like a lot of you guys to be on it, to react to some of your favorite videos and what you guys are excited for haunt season this year." And it's the format is we introduce the character, or we introduce the person, we ask them what maze they chose and why they chose it. We react to the video, so everyone watches it together. And then afterwards, I ask them, okay, now that haunt season is pretty much confirmed for this year, what are you looking forward to? What do you want to see? What event are you most excited for? And then we just end the video there. It's anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, it could be. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really good show. Yeah, definitely check that that video out on his YouTube channel. It's really good. It was some powerful stuff what this Scream actor admitted about this. So definitely check that out. Now,
Albert, we'll put a link to.
Yeah, we'll put a link on it after.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
No problem. So now here's what I wanted to ask you, gentlemen. I was talking to, excuse me for a minute. I was talking to Anthony off screen. This is something I wanted to ask, and this is gonna be the end of the music segment. What was your guys' most crazy concerts you've ever been to? I'm talking about either it almost erupted into a riot, some snafu happened, whatever. What was your guys' craziest experience at a show?
You go first, mate.
Oh man, I got 3 stories I have right here with 3 different concerts. I'll start out with atmosphere wise, and that is Slayer.
Oh,
I first saw Slayer in 2018, I believe, on the Repentless tour. Um, they just released a new album. They had a whole thing. This was a big thing too. If you can go find it on YouTube too. If you actually watch the music video for Repentless live at the Forum in Inglewood, California, um, you can actually see me at like the 8 second mark. You'll see my tall ass standing in the crowd, just like shocked at what I'm about to see. But this was a big tour for them because this is what they've been leading up to. They've wanted to play at the Forum since they started. This is a big deal for them. So they recorded the whole soundtrack. It's on Spotify. It's called the Repentless Tour Live at the Forum. They made a feature film about it because they, with this Repentless album, they had, they made their songs into like a trilogy. So all their songs
Danny
kind of
Trejo was in it.
Danny Trejo was in it. They had a lot of actors in it, and it was a whole thing. So when it came time when we finished everything, they released that little trilogy and then the concert in theaters for select nights. And I was fortunate enough to be at that exact concert that they filmed. So we were there at the Slayer show. First time I've ever seen Slayer, by the way. I've always been a massive Slayer fan. I mean, Raining Blood, Angel of Death, all those, just to name a few of the hits. Great fucking thrash metal band. Those guys took it to a whole new level, continue to this day. Now they're unfortunately retired. I got to see them on their second to last show, which was a lot of fun too. But I went to the show, I was excited, and the lights go dark and the music starts fucking building up for Slayer. Their like entrance song. And they have this thing where they put like a cloth sheet, a big ass cloth sheet in the front of the stage. So when they come out, it's a surprise. But they have projections on it with like the Slayer logo, and then they had like an upside down cross, like turn upside down. It was really cool. But the minute the cloth dropped, dude, they started playing Repentless, and fucking roof goes blown off of that place, dude. It was insane. I was right in the middle, so that's where the pit started. I have never been in a more intense mosh pit in my life than Slayer.
I've heard about that.
It got so bad to the point where like halfway through, I actually had to tap out and go stand in the back because I was tired. I was getting banged up. I got socked a couple times in my body, and I just had to tap out. But fucking great show, and that was one of my brutal ones. The second one, same location, the Forum in Inglewood. I saw the Misfits for the first time, 2017. And this is the first comeback show they've ever done with the original Misfits lineup of Glenn Danzig, Jerry Only, and Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. And I've loved the Misfits, iconic punk band. They've really paved the way for what punk sounds like and made their name in the history of music. And I saw them, and I was on the fucking railing for that one. The show starts, man, and everyone comes out and starts playing fucking music, and the crowd goes fucking nuts, dude. To the point where I'm up against the railing, right, and the pit and everything is happening behind me, but everyone is pushing me up towards the railing. That the entire night I'm like fucking constantly back and forth like that up against the railing. Funny enough, though, let me pull this out because I did catch some memorabilia with that concert. Let's see here. I got a couple of memorabilias I could share with you guys, but this right here, I made these. These are just something tinfoil and stuff, but these are every pick I've ever caught at a concert from artists.
Okay.
So the two ones I got from the Misfits are right here. I got AC Slade, who was one of their guitar players, and Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. As you can see, the pick's broken because he fucking broke it. But I mean, I've seen them all. I've got a freaking pick from Gojira, 2 Metallica picks.
Nice.
Let's see. I got Frank Bello, fucking bass player from Anthrax. Scott Ian. I've got a couple of his picks. Couple of punk bands, a lot of tribute bands that I've seen. But I got to catch one of his picks, and it was one of the best days of my life. But it was just a brutal concert because I was constantly getting shoved.
Yeah.
I saved the best for last, though.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a band that's been coming up lately in the punk ska scene, and I actually got the bass player. That's his pick right there. They're a band called The Interrupters. And I'm a huge fan of this band. I've seen them in concert about 8 or 9 times now. And so, we go to this show. It's this tattoo music festival called Musink. It's hosted by Travis Barker. This is his thing. And
Brainchild.
yeah. So basically, what you have there is all these tattoo artists come. You can actually sign up with one of the tattoo artists to get a tattoo at the show, and then
nice.
like at the end of the evening, they have bands that perform. It's a whole weekend thing, a little music festival. About 3 or 4 bands perform. It's a very fun time. Well, the lineup for that day was the Interrupters, Good Charlotte, and Blink 182.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So the Interrupters come on, and by that time, I'm already a huge fan of them. I've already probably seen them like 2 or 3 times. Love their music. Love everything about them. New album just dropped for them. So no album did not drop for them yet, because that's how I know it was. But show's going good. I'm in the pit, having a good time. I decided, I'm done with the pit a little bit. I want to enjoy the rest of the concert, so I'm about to step out. Guy comes from behind me, trips and falls on me. 3 other people fall on top of him. I hear a loud popping noise in my body.
Oh boy, that's not good.
And it comes from my ankle. So, I've had ankle injuries before where it hurts for a little bit, but when you walk it off, it gets better.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those, but the pain would not go away. So I was standing in the crowd for a little bit. The guy, people around me were asking, "You okay? Everything okay?" I'm like, "I don't know," and stuff. So I went off to the side and I waited for the Interrupters to finish their set. Called my cousin and my buddy, and I told them what happened. The emergency team there made me a temporary cast. Ended up going to the ER that night. Didn't even get to see Good Charlotte or Blink 182.
Oh.
Ended up going to the ER that night. Turns out I broke my ankle.
Oh.
And
Fuck.
yeah. So I broke my ankle. The funny part was I didn't tell my mom or dad about it until after I got out of the hospital and I got the official diagnosis. My mom was freaking out. She was like, "You should have called me immediately. I would have been down there." My dad is freaking out.
Yeah.
I get home, ankle's fucking hurting. And eventually I had to get surgery. I had to get plates and screws put in my ankle. There's a nasty ass gnarly scar on my ankle right now. That's still there to this day. And yeah, I'll never forget that experience. And that's why to this day now I'm a little bit more cautious and scared of when I pit, because I feel like that's going to happen again. And I don't want that to happen again because it sucks.
Oh yeah, totally.
Mind you, I was only a week in with my new permanent job. So I already had to take fucking medical leave because I broke my ankle.
You have to, it's different over here in the UK, but do you, Anthony, do you have to pay for all that once you've obviously broke your ankle and stuff? Do you?
I was, like I said, I was lucky. I had just started my new, my permanent job, so with that came with benefits.
Right.
So I had my medical down. Out here we have a medical facility called Kaiser, and I went there. The nearest one was in Irvine, which where the show was at. It was at the OC Fairgrounds. So I went there immediately, and I paid. They gave me medication. I paid I think it was like $75 because I had to pay because it was an emergency thing, and they saw it was more things. So it was 75 total. It was like 50 for the checkup because it was an emergency rush-in, and then 25 for the medication they gave me. So it wasn't too bad. As far as that goes, luckily with insurance, covers a lot of my hospital bills, so I'm very thankful for that.
I find it madness that you guys have to pay for treatments over there. I just find it madness because obviously over here we have the NHS, so as much as it's on its arse because our governments are arseholes and don't look after it. But I mean, if I broke my ankle, say hypothetically tomorrow, I don't have to pay nothing.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I know the same thing with
madness that you have to pay though.
Fucking Canada gives every one of their members free health insurance as well, so they're covered. But that's fucking cool. Yeah, I mean, there are methods around health insurance around in California. Like if no one is working full time or they don't have it, they have programs where they can get it to them for free at least, or pay a very low price for it, like a super affordable price. That way, at least they are covered. Like I was on this thing called Covered California when I was a kid for the longest, and it was very, for people who don't make a lot of money or who don't work at all, they do take care of those people because they want eventually the United States wants everyone to have some sort of health insurance. So
yes,
yeah.
I just think it's mad though.
I do too. No, and when I hear that
We
story,
do
I'm
what
just
we
like,
do over here.
yeah,
And, you know what I mean, and look after you properly.
yeah.
Why should you have to pay for it?
Our government don't care about us. Come on now.
Yeah, no, those are mine.
I
Just one
ain't
of them.
wrong about that.
Every year, I'm constantly waiting for the purge to start because it's only a matter of time.
Oh,
No, you won't be the only one. Like over here, like considering all the situation with the pandemic and how things have gone a bit mental now with the new variant, and you know, Albert will tell you that I had corona. A couple
yeah,
of weeks
he had
ago,
COVID.
and you know what I mean. I look at figures now. Just in
Wait,
Wales,
you had a corona?
I had a corona. Yeah.
He had
He's like, I wish it was that. I would have much rather had that than the
he
virus.
stole your joke, Donnie. He
Uh,
stole your joke.
But it's madness. It's like just for figures over here in Wales.
So how is it? How is the pandemic
Man.
doing overseas over where you're at? Is it? Do you guys,
It's obviously at the moment with the Indian variant, it's gone a bit crazy.
yeah.
But at the same time now, England, Wales, Scotland, and I think England are opened up fully now. Wales haven't opened up fully for
You
another.
guys got vaccines over there yet or no?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
vaccines.
with the vaccines.
I've got my second one on Tuesday coming up. But
good
you know
for
what I mean,
you.
Wales is one of the best in Europe at the moment with
Right.
delivering vaccines. England itself aren't very good. A lot of people at the moment as well are declining them because obviously conspiracy
Bullshit,
and
yeah.
all that bullshit fucking playing on people's heads. And
You know,
And I
speaking of
think
that, oh, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
no, fine.
Oh, speaking of that, you know, to that guy on Twitter, when it comes to HHN, stop bringing that shit up, okay? It's 2021. They're not canceling it. Stop that, all right?
Yeah.
Stop that. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing that shit. You're going to
No,
get
dude,
people panicking about it, and then they're not going to get vaccinated.
I think when it came down to when this whole thing started, obviously the president we had at the time was
An idiot.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got his mate still, so we haven't.
Yeah. But you know, I think at the time when that started, I think at this point this should have been a sign of world peace, where we should have all came together as a world, and not just a country. Like I'm talking every country and the whole world. We should have all came together, whether we're allies or enemies, put everything aside and focus on what's more important, and that's the people. That's the protection of the people. Let's all come up together with the plan of how we can contain it. Let's all get vaccines out to everyone. That way everybody can get vaccinated.
Exactly.
I will say this, like, listen, I was a little skeptical in the beginning about the vaccine. You know,
I was involved.
I was too.
Yeah, no, it was just more for me. It was more of a thing where this is coming out too fast. I don't trust it, but
We didn't know
know,
what it was about.
yeah,
I felt the same way.
yeah, but I'm fortunate enough for me to have a lot of family that are in the medical field, and so I would always constantly be asking them. I would ask, like when I make doctor's appointments, I would ask them about, like, you know, as much questions as I can get out of them, and eventually, come time around, I think it was March, April, I think it was May, I finally was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get my first shot. So I got my shot, and then I got my second one, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie with you guys, my mind is so much at ease now that I have the vaccine, where I know it's not a cure, but it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a
gives you
lot harder for
freedom.
me. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to get COVID now. Like, and if
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we're gonna have to live with this.
yeah,
for
I mean,
a long time.
COVID's gonna be here to the end of time now. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the diseases now. You like it or hate it, it's one of the diseases. However, it was interesting to see the transition for one day going to normal to one day being in lockdown, and now now how much everyone looks at the world differently.
How many lockdowns have you guys over in the States had?
We had one long lockdown.
Same here.
It wasn't really like a lockdown where like the grocery stores were still open, gas station, you know, a lot of essential things were still open.
Yeah. That's how it was for us here.
But California, if anyone watches the news, was the most strictest state in the
Yeah, you
country.
guys got hit hard.
Yeah,
hard.
I mean, we are so heavily populated here too, with the state. I think we have something like I want to say around 80 million people, maybe more, that live in California.
Yeah.
And so it hit us hard, and you know, there was you know, reasonings behind it, and it didn't really bother me. I mean, for like when as far as work goes, we went to work like the first week or two after the pandemic, and then we were off for about a month and a half, and we came back to work. And then I've been pretty much working the entire whole pandemic, you know, all that summer and
You could bang
All
out content that there's no tomorrow, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah, no, that was always the hardest thing was how am I going to continue to create content during a pandemic?
Yeah,
The way it was also a strength though, because a lot of people I looked at it I looked at it as a lot of people aren't doing anything. A lot of people are home. This is probably the best time to put out content because this is going to give someone some hope and some people to watch it.
Yeah.
And that was the strongest point of the pandemic for us was we can release content still. We can still book guests and stuff. Everyone was turning over to Skype and Zoom. So we figured let's jump on that fucking wagon too. Let's get Zoom and let's start interviewing people.
exactly.
And
You guys are lucky though, because we've had was it two lockdowns? Three lockdowns we've had in the whole entire UK.
yeah.
And apparently so we're and then they're looking at rumors are saying that we're going back into another one in September.
Fuck.
And it's such a headache because you go to work, you get yourself back in a routine, and then you come out of work, and then you get yourself in the routine of being at home with the kids or whatever you do, and and then it's back to work again, and it's such a head fuck. Do you know what I mean?
My pandemic routine, man, it was I'm a night owl for one. I love staying up late at night. I feel like I'm more productive at night than I am.
And I feel like I'm going to be in trouble come HHN because he's a night owl. I'm a dead man when I'm out there.
Yeah, I'm a night owl, so like I can hang up. I've done all nighters where I've stayed up full 24 hours before. But I am a night owl. I mean, it doesn't help that I fucking have sleep apnea and all that shit. You know what I mean? So,
that doesn't help. Yeah.
Insomnia and all that. So I'm up a lot anyway. And what's sucky is during the summertime we go to day hours. So I got to start work at fucking 6 a.m. So I'm up at like 5:30 in the morning.
I feel you paid, mate. I have to do 6 o'clock in the morning as well.
Yeah. So it's fucking like I'm used to staying up late, and I have to force myself to get into a schedule. That's when a lot of CBD and a lot of sleeping pills come in to help me sleep.
They don't work with me. That shit doesn't work with me at all.
I had to find the right CBD to finally get me going, and I found the right one finally, and that's RVD's Rob Van Dam's CBD. His CBD has the highest I've ever seen as far as
I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, he goes I think anywhere from 300 to 750 milligrams per gummy, so
nice.
It helps a lot, but. Yeah, I'm a night owl, dude. I love staying up late, and when the pandemic hit, dude, it just got worse. I was staying up till like 7, 8 in the morning. Finally going to bed, then waking up at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, getting up, doing it all again, playing video games, making content, and all that. So I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. So during the pandemic, they remastered Resident Evil 3.
Oh, did they really?
Did you like that one? Did you like Nemesis?
Really?
I preferred the remake of Resident Evil 2. I thought Resident Evil 2 was brilliant. I thought they pulled back a lot of content.
Listen, and you're probably gonna hate me for this statement, but
no.
Oh,
I am a huge Resident Evil fan. However, I refuse to play any of the original printings of the game because I am so spoiled and used to. I'm part of that generation, so I'm so used to like remasters and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like
so when they Resident Evil 7 came out, I was all over that game. The game was fucking amazing. I loved it. Then they did the remaster for Resident Evil 2.
Which is brilliant.
I had never played Resident Evil 2, and I jumped into that game, and I fucking loved it. Then Resident Evil 3 remaster came out at the start of the pandemic, and I was so for it. It was a remaster, fucking Nemesis, let's go. That's the most iconic villain of Resident Evil of all time. Fucking easily the most annoying villain. I could say, because the guy doesn't fucking die. And it's like you fight him like you fight him like 5 times. You fight him like 5 times in the game, and then finally, after everything you've tried to destroy him with,
I've been with you because you play video games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After everything you put that guy through in the whole game, it took a fucking giant laser beam. Not just one time, like 3 or 4 times you had to shoot him with that thing just to finally kill him, and. It was annoying, but it was such a fun game, and I beat that. I started around like 12:30 at night that night when it came out, and I finished the game at 6 a.m.
I had Final Fantasy VII remake, and I love Final Fantasy VII, right? So when that came out through the pandemic as well, amazing. I love that. That sort of broke me away from the norm because it was the same. I had the same problems with you, like you have. So it was like,
Yeah.
go to bed late. Even with the kids, we'd stay up fucking really late now. All of them, like my lad's the oldest, so he's in his bedroom playing whatever it is on his PC, and two girls are down here with me and my fiance, sorry, and
Your wife.
It's early hours in the morning, and I'll get battered if she hears me say that. So we do the same, but I had Final Fantasy VII remake, and that came out, and that sort of for the time. But I think I look back at it now, and I think I might have hammered that too quickly.
Have you?
I was so eager to play it. Do you know what I mean? Because 1997, and that game rolled my life as a teenager. Do you know what I mean? I completed that game 14 times.
Right.
And I loved it. And I bought it on every platform going.
Have you played Resident Evil 8 yet?
Village, yes.
Yeah.
Got that on day release. Loved it.
What'd you think?
John, start leaving comments now.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think it was one of the best Resident Evil games so far. I mean, it was so fun, and the idea of multiple villains, and you know, just to face all of them. I specifically love the Heisenberg character. I'm thinking about.
I felt bad like we didn't join up with him. I know it's gonna be spoilers, but
yeah, dude, that would have been so cool, man, to fucking work with him and stuff. But I personally, my goal is to buy a whole cosplay of him and take him to conventions and stuff.
Yes,
and photo meets, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to put on that and get a cigar going and be, Ethan Winters, is that you? Be a lot of fun,
did you when you played it? Sorry, Albert.
No, go ahead.
Did you? What was your thoughts on Chris Redfield? Because did you think he was a bad guy? Well, being a villain in that before you realized what was actually.
I seen the
game.
So I seen the trailers for it, and you see Chris fucking kill Mia, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Chris? What the hell is going on? You're supposed to be like the fucking hero of Resident Evil. And then when you start diving deep into the game, you're like, oh, okay, your intentions were always good. You're just trying to look out for everybody. Because, even though he is the Umbrella Corporation boy, at the end of that game, at the end of that game, he starts realizing Umbrella is fucking crooked. Like, this is all they're doing, and we have to come in and clean up. I can't do this no more. So especially when you play as Chris in that game even more, because the last time we played as Chris was in 7 in a DLC.
Yeah.
And now this one you got to actually play with him in game. But I mean the whole arc of this whole storyline with Ethan Winters, I think it had a fantastic ending. Like to kind of come out, and this is going to be full-blown spoilers for anyone who hasn't played it.
Oh, come on, they would have played it by now.
Yeah, you should have played it by now. I played that. I beat that shit in a weekend. Come on. The whole story arc of finding out Ethan was actually one of those fucking. He died in the 7.
Yeah. It was like, what the fuck?
And then it all made sense. I was like, no wonder why you fucking can go through so much pain and shit and not die. Any other person. Yeah, any other person would have died doing the shit you did. But it made a lot of sense, and it wrapped that. And then the post-credit scene of his daughter. Yeah, and her all grown up, and then it's looking like they're setting up the next game to play as her, and she's got special abilities and stuff. Like, I'm super stoked for that. I can't wait for that. But
still want to see his face, though, mate. I still want to see.
Yeah, they gypped us on that. But what's cool is in a couple weeks, we're having a convention down here called Awaken the Spirits, by the team.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, it's called the teams that puts it on is Midsummer Scream. It's one of the biggest horror conventions I would say in the world. Right. It's essentially like the Comic-Con of horror conventions. Yeah, this is like they like all the major haunts come down. They fucking all the SoCal haunts will come down and they announce their stuff. And
we're gonna segue into that, ladies and gentlemen. After this, we're gonna talk about it. We put it off too much.
Yeah,
we put it off too much, gentlemen. I know these people want to hear about the Halloween stuff.
We're gonna get into it right now, but
we're gonna get into it right now.
The reason why I brought up the Awaken the Spirits, because they're actually doing a Resident Evil 8 panel. With,
that's going to be good.
They're going to have the voice actors who played Mia Winters.
Yeah.
They're going to have one of the vampire sisters is going to be there. The motion caption actors who played.
My brother is going crazy right now.
The motion caption actress who played the bride in black veil with the puppet.
Yeah.
The girl who played her is going to be there. And is that it? I think that's it. But I so badly, my goal is to try to meet the girl who played Mia Winters and be like, you know how much shit you put me through in 2 games, but I fucking love you for it because you guys are phenomenal at acting, and I love it. I love you for it because I had a fun time playing both of those games.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was going back to its roots because Resident Evil was on its arse for a long time.
When they came back with 7, it really revolutionized and changed the history of how that
game.
game's
Did you ever play in VR?
I want to so bad.
I'm not doing it ever again, mate.
7 scared the shit out of me too with those creatures and those things jumping at you. That especially when you fight the mom when she's all bugs and shit. And I don't like. I fucking just thinking about it.
Yeah,
and
it was a different experience. Just put it that way.
I will. If I ever do VR with that game, if I ever got the opportunity, I will make it a Nights of Horror walkthrough video so people can watch me. I mean, I'll have a camera on me filming what I look like outside of VR, and then we'll have the footage going. But yeah,
I'd watch it. I'd watch it just so I know how you're feeling.
You know, I don't know what game my wife is playing. What's that game that you're screaming and getting scared of? What is it called? Outlast. She's been playing Outlast.
Oh, dude, Outlast is so good.
Yeah. That was a free game at the beginning of PlayStation.
Yes.
She said she beat the first one, the Whistleblower. Is that what it's called?
The second one's
Whistleblower. Oh, first one and Whistleblower. Okay.
Whistleblower was the DLC for the first one, and then Outlast 2.
Right. Okay.
Took it to a whole new fucking level, dude. They went satanic as shit. Like,
I'm gonna get some beers, lads.
Yeah, it was Outlast is I think what really spawned what Resident Evil is today. You know what I mean? So
because she was playing this game and I was not paying attention. I'm like, she goes, this is what she told me, and don't lie. You said I'm getting ready for the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights. I go, okay, whatever floats your boat. All of a sudden, here, like, what's going on? She goes, oh, it's my game I'm playing. I go,
I don't blame her though. I was the same way. I screamed like a bitch when I played that game, dude. Like I was fucking
intense. Am I missing something?
I was a little fucking kid when I played that game, dude, because it's all first person for one, and it's one of those games where you can't. It's all about running and hiding. There's no fighting back, so that's what makes it a little bit more complicated. But there's just scenes that like will fucking get you, and you're just like, God damn, like especially with her. Tell her to play Outlast 2 because Outlast 2, you thought Outlast 1 was bad. Outlast 2 is even fucking worse.
I saw a walkthrough of it, so I know what I'm in for, but I'm already lost 10 minutes into the game.
It's
gonna play a Mac.
It's
She's
nuts.
not coming on camera, anybody, so don't even expect that.
No, it Outlast 2 is it go. If you thought Outlast 1 was satanic, this one takes satanic to a whole new level. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
And you're telling me you played this game just to get ready for Halloween Horror Nights?
Well, no,
it's a good game to get ready for.
No, it's a good game. No, I believe it, but that's what she told me at that time. And I'm looking at her, I'm like,
you know what's funny?
For that
2020 season, we're talking about video games. 2020 season was a hard season for anyone to go to.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
You know, HHN in Orlando had like a little light event. What they call HHN Light? You know, they had 2 mazes, and then they had Beetlejuice the final weekend. But a lot
we saw that Rick's Flex. You're familiar with Rick's Flex?
I know Rick's Flex.
Yeah, we love him. You know, we saw it, and you know what? And let's face it, there was a guy that went in there with the glasses camera. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the haunts. This is leading up to it, but from what he showed,
it's hot, man. It's hot. You know what? You don't understand in the UK, right? You guys get hot weather. When we get it in the UK, we're not prepared.
It's always cold and
it's hot here.
It's always like cold and rainy over there,
all the time. And the last 2 weeks, it's been like 30.
You know what? At this point, nothing. I mean, I'm getting myself prepared for the Orlando weather. I heard Orlando weather is very
it's like Chicago. I'm used to that humidity, so I'm ready.
I mean, I live in beautiful sunny California, so it's fucking right now. It's brutally hot, and
yeah, but you guys get dry. We get humidity,
and so I'm getting ready for that.
Orlando gets it.
Not to mention the random rain stops you get there. Rain for 5 minutes. Yeah, but when it rains here in California, it's like a fucking miracle on 34th Street over here because we rarely get rain, and when we do, we try to enjoy the fuck out of it.
Walk like cheeses and go on your front lawn and go on your knees and sort of put your arms up like yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that scene from that fucking what's that army movie where he does it at the end. He's just like that and shit.
Platoon.
Platoon, yeah. It's like that. I'm like out there like, oh, it's fucking raining finally. You know, so
Right. You're like that, and I see fucking rain. I'm like, I've had enough.
yeah. At least you guys.
Before
At
we
least
get
you,
into the Busch Garden stuff, yeah, I was telling Anthony, this guy, I'm not going to mention who he was. I don't know who he is anyway, but snuck into the Beetlejuice house with those glasses that has the camera.
Right.
Now, I don't know if this is the fault of the pandemic or they weren't. I don't know, but I wasn't impressed with the Beetlejuice house. But they'll redeem itself. I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing good things from what we saw. We'll get into the HHN stuff, but you know
If
what?
I
The hell
wasn't-
with it. We'll get into it now.
if I wasn't going to Orlando this year, I would say I'd be pissed that I'm not getting it this year because Hollywood is not getting Beetlejuice this year.
You're not?
We're not getting Beetlejuice this year. It's
Oh, really? So that was. Oh, so you guys are not getting Beetlejuice?
We're not getting Beetlejuice this
That's
year.
bullshit.
It is bullshit, and I'm hoping next year. But I understand at a business standpoint, Orlando
That's ridiculous.
Orlando was practically open the whole pandemic, while Universal out here in Hollywood just opened back up, and I think like May or June recently. So it just opened up recently. So they're trying to make their money back, and I can understand the budget for Horror Nights this year was very, very limited. So I'm not mad at the lineup this year. Am I disappointed in some things I'd rather change out? Yes, I would, but
What would you
I'm
have
not-
instead then?
You know what? Before we get to that, we'll save it. Look, Busch Gardens, it's not that much. They just recently announced 2 new houses.
2 new houses out in Orlando. Yeah,
Yeah, in Orlando at the
I think
Orlando one. We have.
I think that's
Go ahead,
SeaWorld.
sorry,
No, or is it SeaWorld or Busch Gardens?
I think. Okay, I think.
I think it's
What is
SeaWorld.
this one? Give me a minute, ladies and gentlemen. The Forgotten, if I'm saying that right. This one has just been announced. The Forgotten. Now, Chris hasn't seen the trailer. I saw it. At first I thought it was going to be satanic, and am I confused? Did I see a goat in it? In the trailer,
we were talking about that before I went on air,
Yeah.
and yeah, I did see a goat, but it probably was the shadowing and how they lit it and stuff and made it look like one thing, and then you find out it's a whole completely different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's vampires. Chris, your thoughts on this? I'm going to put it up one more time. Your thoughts on this, Chris?
I'm not sure what you have. You see, you guys like you have all this. We don't get this in the UK. We don't have anything like this.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's best if I'll ask questions. It's probably best that you two sort of break it down a bit. Yeah, and then I'll ask questions, that something's familiar with myself, but it's hard. Like I say, there's much research I can look at it, and it's hard.
Like a goat.
For me. I don't know.
At first, when I saw the trailer, I go, "Is that a goat in the background?" I'm like, "Wow, they're really kicking it up, Busch Gardens. You might make me want to ditch a Halloween Horror Nights, but I can't do that to the fans."
Looks very purgy.
I will go out and say I've never experienced Hollow Scream.
Oh yeah, you were telling me you've never actually done a Hollow Scream.
I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that if anyone knows my very first East Coast collaborator, Eddie from Edutainment.
Yeah, we've been trying. We got to get him on eventually.
Yeah, he's
Eddie.
fucking great person, dude.
He's
I love
awesome.
Eddie. I love Eddie so much, and to watch him grow his channel as of late, it's been fucking awesome. He deserves every bit of it. That goes for all my boo bros, man. To watch him grow is just fun.
Anthony, I'm sorry, not Anthony. Adrian, we're gonna try and get on eventually.
Adrian, yeah, I know Adrian. He's been wanting to do your show too, and I
thought that was a joke.
No, he wants to do it. It's just lately, since he got full time with his job, he's just
been busy for him. Yeah,
he's been busy, and I know he's
he's
actually here on the West Coast right now.
He's
on
in
vacation.
Vegas.
Yeah. So he was in California for a couple days, and I didn't get to see him. I'm so pissed, man. I was busy with work and stuff, and the timing was just wrong. But
I would mind a vacation in Las Vegas. Jesus Christ,
dude, yeah, come to Vegas, man. You'll have fun. It's the city of sin, man. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I'm not getting into this.
But Eddie and I, we did a show, and we still continue to do a show. I actually have to edit an episode pretty soon, but we did a show called East versus West that we still continue to do to this day. And the concept behind the show was to focus about Halloween Horror Nights, of comparing and contrast and what we think is better and what's not.
Right.
So we did East versus West, and for the longest, our thing was my event closest to Hollow Scream to him was Not Scary Farm, which was an all original event, all original mazes, scare zones, and whatnot. And same thing with Busch Gardens, Williamsburg over there where he's at in DC. he has a Hellscream too, and it's the same concept, original mazes, everything. So that's how we would compare them. Thankfully, this year in California and San Diego at SeaWorld, we are getting a Hellscream this year finally. And
your SeaWorld. Yeah, that's right.
We haven't announced much. We've announced that there's going to be 3 mazes. There's going to be a couple scare zones and a couple little scare like lanes or whatever. I don't know what the difference may be, or scare trails. I'm sorry. But tickets are on sale now. But I finally get to compare and contrast a Howl-O-Scream event with Eddie this year, and I'm super excited for that. Right. If I had more time in Orlando this year when I'm going, I would definitely try to go check out Howl-O-Scream.
Same here. If I did, I would definitely go.
I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background too. I think our gardener's outside fucking blowing the leaf blower, but
it's okay.
Can't hear it, mate. Right.
Yeah.
I've never been to Howl-O-Scream, and I really want to go, and seeing these announcements from the Boo Bros when we talk about them is awesome. So this one's the this vampire one. I'm a huge vampire fan. We had one similar at Knott's called Club Blood, which was a lot of fun. And we've had vampires over the years at Knott's and stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. But the one that caught my attention the most was Cell Block Zombies.
And I'll bring that up. Yes, they just announced another one called Cell Block Zombies. It wasn't, I'll put the picture up right now, and I was excited for this one.
It's like Walking Dead met Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, I was going to say now.
I mean, they haven't gave us much about it, but just seeing that picture, that looks like a fucking. And I'm talking about the. I'm talking about the.
How does that work? So you then, I suppose, the scenario at the place, and do these zombies come after you?
So the idea behind these events out here in the States is
they're not allowed to touch you.
Certain events, yeah, a majority of the events, these haunts, they're not allowed to touch you and stuff.
They can chase you though.
They can chase you. Yeah, they can. A lot of scare zones will have actors that chase you and stuff. Yep. And it's funny to watch that kind of shit. I've seen a lot of good stuff that haunts. I've seen people get dropped to the floor.
Oh, you're in for a rude awakening when you go to what's it called, HHN, my love.
Yeah, I'm excited for Halloween Horror Nights, man. But it's gonna be a fun time, dude. And this one, but let me tell you something, dude. They have some out here what are known as extreme haunts.
Oh, I know about that. We have it here.
Extreme haunts, you basically have to sign a waiver.
Yep.
Right.
To go through them. And the most famous one out here in SoCal is one called 17th Door.
Right.
And basically, after you sign that waiver, you're basically signing away that they can touch you, they can fucking push you around and shit. So this haunt in the past, let's just name a few scenarios of what they've done in the past at 17th Door. Shove you in lockers, shove you against walls, push you. There's one year they had a barber's chair and they would actually cut people's hair. They shock you.
We have that here.
They shock you. They put you in scenarios with bugs, and that's where I draw the line. I will not do extreme haunts.
We have one in Chicago, Chris. I don't know where it is, but Dawn knows it. You have to sign a waiver. They will literally bury you. They will bury you in a mount, just to the point.
Yeah, you can breathe.
Where you can breathe.
Yeah.
They'll do that. I forgot what they did. They put a cage on a guy and they threw bugs in him and had him strapped down. Those get brutal.
Yeah,
those get brutal.
It's extreme, dude, and
very extreme.
So I'd have to smack someone of these.
I'm the same way. I don't like to be touched.
No, I don't either. I don't.
My wife's the same way. Melanie's the same way. She does
not. I don't like, when people, like, when they speak to you, some people sort of tap you, don't they? You know, when they talk to you, it's sort of one of the things. I hate that shit.
I hate it too.
Speak to me, but don't touch me.
I give certain people certain limits to do with, to touch, a hug or something. Yeah, boundaries, a high five or something. But I'm on the same boat. When someone touches me, I give them like a nasty look, like, what the fuck did you just touch me for?
Yeah,
And that's the thing with the famous haunts; they can't do that. Like,
they're not
gardens or so like Halloween Horror Nights. They'll get arrested.
Your well-known haunts, they'll get super close to your face, but they will not touch you. And sometimes by accident, like if you run into them and they're not paying attention, like but that's an accident. And I'm always cool after that because like and that's the reason why I won't go to 17th Door and stuff. But I respect the people in the industries too much to lay hands or anything on them. that if I run into somebody, I immediately feel bad. Like hey, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to hit you. Like I wasn't paying attention. That's completely my fault. And a lot of the times the actors will break character for, hey, no, it's cool, man. It was my fault too, So, but
That's fair enough.
Like 17th Door, dude. If I were to go to that and they were to start pushing me around, it's just it's just a reaction. I would hit back and I would feel I would feel extremely bad about it, and that's why it's best for me not to go to those events, because I know for every action there's going to be a reaction with me. So
I 100% agree with you, because I'd be the same way. You know what I mean? I'd be locking someone else up in a fucking locker or a cage if that was the case. Yeah.
Exactly. You break out of that shit, you throw them in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm curious with the cell block zombie. I mean, what are they going to do? I'm very curious about this.
I mean, when I think of cell block, the first thing that comes to mind is that season of The Walking Dead when they took over the prison.
Season 3
and 4, I think. Yeah.
Prison orientated.
Yeah, but when I think of the zombies now, when I'm looking at these zombies, the zombies I'm thinking about is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake that he did in 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Like how they were that brutal, those zombies. So that's the zombies I'm looking at. So I don't necessarily know the storyline behind this. They're really secretive about storylines and stuff. They'll give you like little hints and stuff, but what I'm taking
Gardens is known for that, like keeping their stuff very, very secret.
Yeah, so from what I'm taking out of it is I'm thinking it's just gonna be there's a zombie outbreak in this prison and you got to go through it or something. So we'll see what happens.
That'd be good though. I mean, zombies. My missus loves zombies. Apart from Walking Dead, we have to go to this now. Yeah, because I know you said
you got to come out.
I know.
Eventually.
Listen, yeah, and I will. It's hard going when you've got 3 kids, and I've got 3 dogs, and I've got multiple. I've got multiple pets actually. I think I've got a zoo in this household actually more than I've got humans. So it's hard going. I mean, America has always been, here in my head. Like, I want to do it. I want to do it for my channel, Big Fat Weekly, and I want to go over and do UFC and cover it, properly.
Yeah.
Not just over here in the UK, because the cards are better over in the States.
Gives you another reason to go to Vegas then.
Yeah.
I don't think the missus will ever let me go to Vegas.
Not this guy over here.
I'd like to go to America in general. I want to see the different side of things. My cousin, my co-host on Big Fat Weekly, did multiple WrestleManias. And I mean, I am not big on wrestling anymore as I was. I was massive in the 80s, 90s. All the way up to about 2003. I think that's when I found UFC and I first saw it here, and I fell in love there and moved on. But I'm still a wrestling fan. I still remember all the good times. The Austin 316 T-shirt you have, I had that. I had that as a kid.
Anthony, I was going to ask you a question real quick. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead, mate.
During the pandemic, you watch a lot of guys that were covering Busch Gardens and what they could get away with. What did you think of that COVID situation? Do you think they handled it right, or was it too soon? Do you think they could have waited? What's your opinion on that and the whole HHN thing?
It's funny. I would constantly talk with the bros and some of my closest friends about how they're handling the situation on the East Coast or in different states. And it seems like a lot of those governors and stuff over there just did not give a fuck.
They did not.
Fuck it, we're opening up.
Was it in Florida?
Yeah, Florida was like
Ron
the first
DeSantis
to really not give a fuck, dude. Yeah, and I know Texas was another state that didn't give a fuck. And
they did not.
Sammy, my co-host out in he's one of my best friends, known us since high school, and he moved out to Arizona last year.
Nice.
Before the start of the pandemic, I think. And actually during the pandemic he moved out there, and they didn't give a fuck. I actually went out there in November. It was very strict here in California, but I went out there to visit him in November, took a road trip out there, and I was a kid in a candy store when I went out to do. Fucking movie theaters were open, like everything was open, everyone was walking around like nothing was going on, like and me being a movie guy, the last time prior to November I went to the movies was back in March, like the weekend before we went on lockdown here in California and in the fucking world pretty much. And
what did you watch?
The last 2 movies I saw in theaters were The Invisible Man and The Hunt.
I heard good things about that movie. We might have to do a review of that. I've heard good things about that movie.
Maybe. Which one, The Hunt or The Invisible Man?
The Invisible Man.
Invisible Man was a really good take on a new modern.
The original, yeah.
The original
the
was
remake.
good. No, the remake, the 2021. I like the take they did. They approached it.
Excuse me, one minute, guys.
Yeah, it was really cool to see how they approached the whole aspect of how they were gonna do this. You know, obviously with the original one's iconic, and I love the original one. But you know,
I had on VHS, mate.
yeah, that's that VHS, man. I haven't heard that term in so long. But the original, obviously, you know, the story behind his accident was it was a bad science experiment gone wrong. It turned invisible. This one, it's more it's science again, but it's not what you think. It's more there's more complications to it, but it was a lot of fun. And The Hunt was another great fucking film as well. Both Blumhouse films as well too. So I had a great time watching those. And those are the last two movies I saw in theaters in March. Fast forward all the way to November, I go to Arizona. I find out movie theaters are open. So we go see Tenet. I love Tenet. Tenet was fucking good.
I'm still actually, when you talk about Tenet, I'm halfway through in the last 6 months.
It's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you been the first film with DiCaprio in it was
Inception?
mind-boggling it was.
Yeah.
You mean I know that the black guy from Ballers with The Rock,
yeah,
the HBO TV show, and I love that as well. So
yeah.
I start, me and my missus, we go to bed, we go watch it, and then it's like halfway through, we go to sleep, and then we start again.
Yeah, Tenet was good. I saw that in theaters for the first time, and as confusing as it was, Sammy always gets me on this. Like, he always tells me, like, how the fuck do you know what's going to happen before it happens? I was like, I've been watching movies for so long, dude. It's pretty predictable of when you can start sensing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I called out, like, the whole, like, there's a scene in the beginning where he fights, like, a bunch of people, and they're like, you know, it's weird how they do like the traveling and back in time and stuff like that. But it's a really complicated film. But you know, I called everything going into like the ending. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. He's like, how the fuck did you know that? Like, I couldn't even predict it. I was like, I mean, you just really gotta pay attention. So we saw Tenet. Tenet was good. Tenet's good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna take a couple watch. I've watched it.
Yeah, I'm obviously still trying.
I've watched it 3 times now, and I still don't fucking understand that film. But it's such a good film as far as just kind of getting the overall basic premise of it. Like, I know that much, but
Nolan.
It is Nolan. Yeah, and Nolan's one of my favorite filmmakers. That guy's fucking.
He knows how to play on the mind.
Yeah,
what I meant to, like, ask Anthony is like when you saw like the videos of like the scare zones at that Busch Gardens. Do you think it was, lack of a better term, do you think it was fucking cheesy? Like, could they have just waited till this year to do the houses instead of doing that? Like I said, like we were talking about HHN. Like, you think they should have waited?
Like 2020 when they did the whole like scare zone.
Yeah, that thing. Instead of the houses, they had the scare zones and like HHN Light with the fucking. I really think. I'm sorry. Before you answer that.
Yeah.
I really think like The Bride, for example. We're gonna get into that later, ladies and gentlemen. I think they rushed it way too much, and now they gotta. Oh, okay. So it's like this now. It's like.
Yeah.
They should have just waited. Let them wait.
The biggest thing for me with that situation was I know Florida doesn't get a lot of opportunities for haunts.
Okay.
When we talk about, you know, constantly I'm always talking about the bros with all these various haunts, and then we have a lot of home haunts out here. A lot of people who will put on an actual fucking maze or walkthrough at their own house. And that's a big thing out here in SoCal was we have a lot of home haunters in the area that put on premier quality stuff at their house that you would see at Horror Nights. Like, it's that fucking good. I've seen 2020. Okay. I mean, if you want to go back and check out our channel with that, we covered a lot of home haunts this year because 2020 was the year of the home haunts because there was nothing really to do. And the home
Sir
haunts,
Henry's. I mean, Orlando had Sir Henry's.
Yeah, and home haunts out here were a big thing because they were helping us get our haunt fix. I got to do at least two maze walkthroughs. A lot of them were. It was an interesting year last year. We had a lot of drive-through stuff, a lot of drive-in style things, and it was interesting.
Didn't Orlando have something like that? I forgot the name. I saw
Stream and Scream, right?
I'm not going to mention the YouTuber's name because we don't like him, but he went to a haunted house. Yeah, I have to. That rivalry's still going on. He went to a haunt. This was actually when I liked him. He went to a drive-through haunt. Was that one of the haunts?
Stream and Scream was a big one. Drive-through.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. That was something I heard, but but they have a lot of actual haunts out there. They don't have very many as we do, more selection than we do. They have, I think, like 2 major ones, which is Hollow Scream and Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
And they don't really get the opportunity to do home haunts because of the constant rain and hurricane problems they have out there.
In Florida, or are you talking about
in Florida?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
So
you
when
don't know when
the
fuck it's gonna rain or when the fuck it's gonna be sunny, it's all over the fucking place.
So when I bring up the term home haunts to them, like they know what it is, but they don't get they don't get any out there. Like when they see us having home haunts out here, it's something that's new to them. They're like, they want to see what's up and they want to see how creative people can get.
Right.
And we went to a lot of great creative ones last year. Corona Haunt was awesome. Direct Society was really cool out in Ontario. The Pirates Cave was probably one of my favorites last year. They usually do a walkthrough attraction, but because of COVID, they did something fucking phenomenal. They did a whole fucking show of a 10-15 minute show, and it seemed like theme park quality stuff. They were explaining the origins of their haunt. So they had a mixture of projections, lighting, and sound, and water effects mixed with actual live actors. And they did this all on the dude's front lawn. And it was such a great show that I mean, go, you get a chance, you guys, go check it out on my channel.
That sounds interesting. I'll tell you another haunt they had, that Morrow's Nightmare, I heard was really good.
Yeah, I had heard some stuff about that from some of my East Coast buddies out there, and to hear some stuff. They were trying to figure out as much stuff to do. A lot of the times it was them going every week to go do the HHN Light, to go through those mages to get their fix, but a lot of the guys.
I was not impressed with that HHN Light. I'm sorry. I know it's going to piss people off. I was not impressed with that.
I think what ruined a lot of the aspects of it too was the whole COVID and plexiglass and the actors.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Like, so I mean, I seen some walkthroughs. Design wise, next to none with the Horror Nights or in Orlando. They always do an amazing job with that, and that's why I'm excited to go. I've always seen it on film, but nothing compares until you actually walk in person.
I haven't been to HHN since 2007, so I've been anticipating my return to this. And this was before we had the Art of Party, and this made it all the much sweeter to do it.
Yeah, I am super excited to be headed out to Orlando this year to check out their event. And
I know I'm jealous of you and the Boo Bros because you guys are going before me.
I don't know who's going to be there with Boo Bros that weekend. I know Scott, SoCal Exploring, will be here in Hollywood doing because that's our opening weekend, the weekend I'm going.
My guy.
And I'm going to be, this is the first time since 2013, 14 maybe, since I'm going to be missing an opening weekend at our Horror Nights because I'll be in Orlando.
Yeah, and the thing is, I will tell you this. We're going to talk about this right now. That was the Busch Garden segment, people. If you have to, please go. I wish I could be there, but it's not going to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen next year because of the window we have, but we will have the Art of Party, and especially at Busch Gardens 1 year, and we're definitely going to have the Art of Partying at Sir Henry's. I promised him so many times that because he wanted me to go out last year. Mel read the message, right, from Instagram? He wanted us to go out next year. And I'm like, HHN, the fans want me to do it.
Dude, I'm in Chicago. I got to plan that shit ahead of time.
Oh, God, I have to, especially with my job. I got to give them 2 years in advance for that shit. But
yeah, dude.
But we will definitely try to get something going on out there for Busch Gardens eventually. We might do a beer bash. If the beer bash is good next year, we'll do a beer bash out there in Busch Gardens, okay?
For sure.
Remember, when you do everybody. I'm on here, on your screen.
So that was the Busch Gardens segment. We're going to save the HHN stuff till later. Let's get into these reviews of the week because I want to hear some feedback on this. This week we reviewed.
Instead.
Oh, stop it, will you? We did Creepshow 1. Let me get my notes here about this one.
That first, and by the way, that guy that's in the
Leslie Nielsen in that.
Let me get my contemporaneous notes here, gentlemen.
The guy in the Moss stuff. That's actually Stephen King.
Yes.
Did I see Leslie Nielsen then as well?
Yes. I'm going
to put the drink up because Leslie Nielsen put some fantastic films up before he died.
I will tell you this.
Keep going.
My thoughts of this. I love it. It's a horror anthology, a classic. I thought it was more storytelling than most of the horror movies we're used to these days.
Right.
The little boy segment, I think they could have did away with that, but that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
I mean, overall, dude, Creepshow for me, the first one is such a iconic film for me.
Really is.
It was one of those films that in 2019 I had the opportunity to watch again because it was coming to Horror Nights. So I enjoyed it. I think the one segment for me that gets me the most, and I had to walk through it at Horror Nights, is the scene of the guy who's the germaphobe and all the cockroaches come in.
Oh, it's creeping up on you.
Oh God, dude, I hate, for one, I hate cockroaches. I do. I hate any insects and bugs. It's a phobia of mine, especially spiders. I hate spiders. But that cockroach scene,
just hoover them up.
yeah, it's bad, dude. I hate them all, dude. And with cockroaches, with that scene we had at Horror Nights, they had like
they had a scene of that.
They had that scene in Horror Nights, and we walk through that room, and the alarms are going off, and everything looks clean, and then you see cockroaches all over the wall. The fucked up part too was there was a scene when after you finish that, you see the guy, he's laying in the bed with all the cockroaches on him. It's all projections and stuff, so it looks cool. But the scene after that, you go into like a dark hallway, you can't see shit. They had a guy with like a brush or something that would wave it across your face, wave it across your body. And you couldn't see it, you couldn't go. Luckily for me, because I know if I would have felt that, I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I went through that maze about 4 or 5 times that year. Luckily for me, every time I went through that maze, I dodged that every fucking time. They didn't.
Gentlemen, you want to know something funny about that?
You must have eaten your carrots.
what was that again?
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
You must have eaten your carrots.
Yeah, I was I dodged it every time, dude. I was like, I would push people to get out of the way. I would duck. I dodged it every fucking time.
You want to know something funny about that particular story? His fear of the bugs is his fear of the minorities.
Yeah.
It's very, let's face it, he's racist in that story. He's very racist. That one, I love that one. Father's Day.
It's a classic, bro.
Listen, folks, I loved it, but come on, there was things that were not explained in that. I know we were talking about it off screen. It's left to your interpretation, but everything was so flowing. Was he a zombie? Is he a spirit? I think don't know.
My interpretation of it always too, and I always tell people, especially if they leave you asking questions, then you know a filmmaker is doing his job, because
Definitely.
That's how you know they're going to talk about your film. Is if you're left after the film asking a bunch of questions and stuff, it's word of mouth. Now people are going to be like, gonna go want to see this movie and be like, oh fuck, like, and then they're going to have their own theories about it. My theory to that scene was always
because what fucked me up with that whole scene is I forgot the actor's name. Dorian's going to kill me, but when he fell into the grave,
right,
and you see the father go like this, I'm like, does he have supernatural powers? Why couldn't he be behind pushing it? That's what fucked me up.
I have always seen that scene because it is a scene of greed. A lot of that family, the father was a rich person.
Yes.
And they were waiting for him to just pass away because they wanted his fortune and whatnot. Right. And
greedy.
I've always seen that as a kind of a vengeance story, because the father dies. He just wanted a normal Father's Day. He wanted a cake. He wanted all this. And they were being greedy. They were being fucking all that because they just wanted his money. They just showed up to be nice to him just because they know when he dies that someone was going to get something. And when he finally did die, it was a vengeance story of, you guys aren't going to get shit because you guys are coming down with me. And I think it was more of a supernatural thing where it was a spiritual vengeance of him coming back and killing his family because they were greedy all these years. So
it makes a lot of sense though, in a way, isn't it? Because it resonates to quite well, more so current.
Oh yeah.
It's like that a lot.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
No, I was gonna say that's what it relates to a lot of in life is you hear stories about people making up stories to ruin someone's life just so they can get a payday.
Yeah.
Biggest one that it was in more recent news was the whole Johnny Depp controversy.
Oh my God, that fucking thing.
Yeah, and he tried to sue a paper in the UK, didn't he? And he lost it.
I don't know anything about that. That probably actually happened, but I'm talking about his stuff with his ex-wife Amber Heard.
Yeah,
you hear anything about that?
That was involved.
And they reported it something different, huh?
Yeah, well, they said that he was beating on her when obviously a lot of people knew that there was a lot. Well, far as from what I know, that she was more of a cunt to him than vice versa.
He's got actual video evidence and everything, and he's presented it to court cases and whatnot. But basically, she came out basically saying that he beat her and stuff. But then you find out basically she's a fight clubber. She fucking would beat on herself
Holy
and
shit.
make it look like he did all this. And she's weird. Like I've heard stories that she like shit on his bed and something like that. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Yeah, it's like, and she still has a career in Hollywood after all. She's gonna be in the next Aquaman film, but Johnny Depp had his face there.
That's her. Okay.
Yeah, but Johnny Depp's lost his roles in his films.
Yeah. Funny part about it though is he did sign a contract prior to that with Disney. Obviously, if they were to use any of his likeness rights for anything to do with Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, he gets a payday out of that. And recently, in a video game called
just put the damn thing in fucking
Sea of Thieves.
Arrow.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves recently just just did a DLC. Yeah, and he's big time into that, and it's a fun DLC, by the way. I love Sea of Thieves, but yeah, he's in that. So
I'm a PlayStation guy, so my lad's an Xbox guy. But
yeah,
in my notes about this movie, gentlemen, I scored this as separate stories, so I didn't want to be like, oh well, he gave it a fucked up scar about it. No, this was separate stories. I thought Father's Day had good. I thought it was good. It was good. Just that unexplained stuff wasn't doing it for me. Let's get to the last death of Jody Vale with Stephen King. You were talking about it, Anthony.
Dude.
I love that one. That one was really good. One-liners up the ass on that one. Now, did they have anything with the Bays with him in there? That one.
No, but Creepshow did. Remember we were talking earlier about Tobin Bell being on Creepshow the show.
Yes.
Mr. fucking Jigsaw himself, dude.
Yes.
Fucking
the gray man.
Iconic. If he's watching, or if he gets word of mouth from this, I would love to have him on the podcast one day to talk about his.
I'd love to know what he thought about Spiral personally.
I loved Spiral. I did.
Oh, the new Saw movie?
Yeah.
The book of Saw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Chris Rock, the guy again, and we were speaking before we came on about comedians turning into horror.
Yeah.
I was really surprised actually on how Chris Rock portrayed his character.
Yeah, and it was something where Chris Rock wanted to do this movie. He produced it and everything, and this was all really a lot of him picking this up on the bat. To take Saw though and go a different direction where it's in the same universe, it's in the same world as the Saw films.
Yeah.
This went a whole different direction of a copycat killer. But to kind of see them, the whole premise of the movie is them killing corrupt cops.
Yeah.
Now, he makes a good point in the film when you find out who the killer is, that, Jigsaw he never touched cops. He never killed cops, corrupt or not. Like, he always respected what cops did. He would always put corrupt cops in their place and put them in sticky situations, but
it was up to them.
Yeah, it was always up to them. And if you really look at the Saw films, when he said this, it's true. When you look back at the Saw films, everyone he killed in these films had a shitty past and they did something shitty.
Didn't value life.
Yeah, you got to see a bunch of people who were racist.
Yep.
You saw a lot of people who did a lot of shady and personal shit that affected other people's lives and ruined it.
Being a druggie,
yeah, all this stuff. So you got to see all these corrupt people, and then you see Spiral, and it's a whole different movie. And the only thing I didn't like about Spiral is the voice they gave the killer every time he came on screen. You're so used to Tobin Bell's voice doing Jigsaw. Billy the puppet, yeah, and
Billy.
And you're used to hearing that fucking menacing voice, and when you hear this voice in Spiral, it's just like, hello, and I'm just like, what? That is
Gentlemen,
not
I will say this right now, 2022, we're getting a Saw house because of Spiral. I'm predicting that. I'm predicting that. Orlando.
Well, I definitely think you're going to get a second film out of it, so it's possible, isn't it?
Yeah. There's talks that they did set it up for a second film. And
what do you think about that?
Story for like Samuel L. Jackson. He's just
dude,
such a bit part actor now these days, isn't he?
Well, and that's the thing I've always liked about Samuel L. Jackson is the fact that he's come out in interviews and saying whether the movie sucks, whether the movie's a fucking hit, It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take the role because in the end of the day, I got paid for it, and that's all that
Oh yeah, of course.
is getting a payday out of it, and that's smart business. It's like whether it sucks
Yeah,
or
that
not,
is. I'm not going to sit here and deny that.
whether the movie sucks, the movie's always gonna be good because you have Samuel Jackson in it. You know what I mean?
Even though he wasn't really in it, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean he was in for like
You watched it. He wasn't really in
he
it.
was in I think like 10 to 20 minutes of the whole film.
Yeah.
So, but I mean it's a big name to have on the cast too with Chris
Oh,
Rock
of course
too.
it is.
So.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
listen, if this film was dive bomb and it was shit, it's still not going to be any worse than Snakes on a Plane, is it? Let's be honest.
Oh God. And even his
No,
role in
I
that,
think
I mean,
he
he was
fair.
still good in that, but it was still like the movie overall was shit.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
I mean-
see actors that've gone through such good roles stop taking.
I know you look at
bad roles.
him in like Pulp Fiction, and then you look at him like in Snakes on a Plane. You're like, how the fuck did we
Yeah.
get to this part in your life?
Yeah, but you can say that about Bruce Willis. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
How do you go from Die Hard to fucking not really Cop Out?
Cop-Out it was a cop out.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you gentlemen something. What did you guys think of the death of Jody Vale?
Oof.
I know that's your favorite. One of you, I think, Anthony, you said that was your favorite?
One of my favorites. Yeah, that was a good story. Really good story overall. Just kept you thinking the entire thing. You know what I mean? And kept you wondering what was going to happen. And finally, leading up to that big twist at the end, it was fun. You know what I mean?
The best thing I ever heard off that is Meteor shit. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm not going to say it, but my favorite is the Leslie Nielsen story. I don't care what
Leslie
anyone
Nielsen's a fucking god.
Is he?
I don't care what-
That's the guy from Naked Gun, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
okay.
care what anyone says about Creepshow. Love it, hate it. You like this, you like that. I don't give a flying fuck. That is the best story of them all.
You can almost tie that one into the fucking Father's Day one because the same scenario happens at the end where they come back and they're vengeful spirits and they want to kill him and put him through the same shit that they went through. And it's cool because you see this guy who, Scary Movie, fucking, you see him all these parody films. He's a very hilarious, very fucking talented person.
And he still added comedy to this.
But
as
it was
black as it was.
majority of it was serious, and you got to see him in a serious role for a little bit too. But it's actually the most memorable story when I think of that film.
God,
it's the first thing I think about, and the fact that you're burying someone in the sand.
Yep.
And then they have to drown when the high tide comes in. Like that's scary to think about.
Because I bet
the
you
thing with that story is. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
The thing with
that's probably happened now, isn't it? Somewhere. Sorry, Albert.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead, Chris.
Somewhere that's happened.
Oh God, yeah, it has. The thing is with that particular story, he was able to put humor into something that was so dark.
Right.
It was dark. My best line of that whole. There's two, but I think I'm just gonna say the two lines he does, and I didn't write it down. When he's sitting there telling him, he's like, "Yeah, so warm and so salty." I started laughing, dude.
Yeah.
And by the second one, there's a couple of them where he's watching them like drowned.
Yeah,
and
he's got camera set up.
laughing, dude. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Anthony.
No, yeah, he's got cameras set up, and
Yeah,
he's
cameras set
watching
up.
a feed from his house.
Yeah, and he's laughing about it. I'm
Yeah.
laughing with him.
Yeah.
That's what's
Uh,
fucked up.
The even more fucked up part about that too is he actually set a TV next to the dude to watch his wife get killed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what was it over again? He owed him
She
something.
was
or-
cheating on him.
Right.
She was cheating on him, and he got to the point where he tells the guy from Cheers, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot his name, but he tells him point blankly, I know you're fucking around on, I know she's fucking around on me with you. And he's like, because, I mean, I could see why he's a villain because he's treating her as, he even says that that's my property, mine. But he tells him, he goes, I know she's fucking around on me with you. And he explains it to him. He goes, you're not going to see her if you don't play ball with me. And that's why he does it, because he was pissed off at, he went insane because that was the love, I'm assuming the love of his life, and she cheated on him. And you could do some pretty extreme shit if you're like that.
It's funny though, because you know, it's got a great ending to it too. They, you know, the spirits of
So
themselves,
fucking good.
they all come back and they're all fucking decayed from the water and shit, and they look like nasty and stuff. And then they come back and they fucking bury him and put him on camera and shit, and he's drowning and shit. So it was
I can hold my breath for a long time.
yeah. Let's see how long you can hold it for, though. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's a great fucking story, dude.
It
and
really
it's a
is.
fun
I'm
time, and
pissed off at Universal. You know what? I'm not mad because if we get a Creepshow house next year, I'm not mad.
yeah,
But it's like, oh,
yeah. They got to get Creepshow out there, man, because it is obviously with the popularity of the TV show, it'd be good promotion. And I heard rumors this year that they're supposed to be getting a Creepshow Scare Zone. I don't know if that's off the
that
table
was
now.
true. That's on the when we get into the HHN news. That speculation map I still have from I forgot that company.
HN Nightmares.
Yes. And they're really. I thought
Oh, dude,
they were full of shit.
I'm gonna be real with you, dude.
Go ahead, talk to me.
I personally am at the phase in my life where I hate leaks and I hate everything now because, you know, growing up into the world of HHN when I started going and every year, it was always fun to get code words and get everything to solve what's going to be coming to the event. It made it fun.
Right.
And now people have so many fucking insiders. It's just annoying.
I feel like they ruined it.
The event, you know, it's still a fun time to go to, but
You want to be surprised.
yeah, what makes HHN
Okay.
fun is them announcing stuff without your knowledge. You have speculations and stuff, and it's cool to speculate, but when your speculation map turns into actual leaks,
Reality.
and no disrespect on HN Nightmares, I love HN Nightmares. That team is amazing over there, and
I've
they do
talked to him
great stuff.
several times. He seems like a nice guy.
He's an
never
amazing
bad-mouthed
person.
beers than anything.
I'm just not a fan of it. Just
The leaks.
it is because you know you over here in Hollywood this year, for example, we were supposed to get Halloween 3 Season of the Witch and Beetlejuice.
They shit canned that.
They did, and his thing confirmed it, and it really put me down because I've been wanting to see Halloween 3 in a maze for so long. I wanted to see Beetlejuice for so long, and now I don't know when I'll be able to see Beetlejuice this year, but I won't be able to see Halloween 3.
My
So-
thing is this: do you think it's because they lost a property to Beetlejuice in
well, and
Hollywood, or is
this
it
is where it goes
something
with,
else?
with leaks, and this is truly my opinion with leaks, and this is why I don't like them. A lot of the properties they try to get are from Warner Brothers, and there's a history with Warner Brothers and Universal in the past where
They're frugal.
it's one of those things where they tend to pull out a lot. We were supposed to get it a few years ago when it came out. We were
I
supposed
heard
to
about that.
We've been trying so hard to get the Conjuring universe over at Halloween Horror Nights, and
Really, I did
Yeah.
not know this.
there was a point in Hollywood, at least, where we had a maze in 2017. It was the year they did the Titans of Terror.
Okay,
And the maze was supposed to be the Conjuring. It was the house from the Conjuring. It was everything, the facade, everything.
the first one or Abigail?
I think it was the first one.
Okay.
And at the last minute, a few months before the event, they had to scrap that idea because Warner Brothers pulled out of that, and they ended up turning it into the maze Titans of Terror. So it was a compilation of Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface.
So it's a political thing with them.
Yeah, and so this is where it comes full circle with leaks. My theory is I truly believe that when something gets leaked, I think Warner Brothers and Universal have an agreement that they want to try to keep it as secretive as possible so they can build hype when it does get announced.
Exactly.
But when it gets leaked, I think that's when a lot of the times Warner Brothers pulls out of the event because they feel like the hype is now it's got leaked. Well, there's no point. It's not a surprise anymore. So they don't feel it's going to be perform as well, which is not true because no matter what, if you're
People
a fan of
want to see it.
if you're a fan of Beetlejuice,
Right.
you're gonna go fucking see that maze.
So are
and-
you thinking that because
I love
they
Beetlejuice.
leaked it, they pulled out?
And this is where it gets tricky with this year because
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't-
right.
it doesn't make sense to me that Orlando has it, but we don't. And usually with IPs, we share everything.
Right.
You know, IP wise, majority of our events, like 80% of our events is shared. There'll be 2 IPs or so that Orlando doesn't get that we get. And that's just because the relationship Murdy has with the industry and stuff. So it gets a little tricky this year. I don't know why they pulled out Beetlejuice in Hollywood this year. There must have been some
That blows
logistics.
my mind too.
It must have been a budget issue with Murdy. It had to be something because it strains me that they pulled out.
Oh
Instead
yeah,
this year.
Hold on a minute though. Do you not think because of the rumors of the second one coming out, maybe they're holding it back?
You know what? I didn't even think about that till
I-
Chris brought it up.
I don't even think it's that because if it was a second film coming out, I would think that would build more hype to the maze for people wanting to go see it.
But
Right.
do you not think that they pulled it away because of the possibility? And I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't, because I feel like a Beetlejuice in this generation would be
censored more.
catastrophic.
Yeah.
It'd be,
I cannot see them doing it too. I cannot.
I would like to see. I'm only on board of it too if all
the original cast.
As far as the original cast goes, like I would only be on board with the two if Michael Keaton came back. That's a must.
Absolutely,
Michael Keaton has to come back. Tim Burton has to direct.
Yeah, and Winona Ryder has to come back.
Winona Ryder has. Those are the three that need to come back because they
that
can
would
easily.
not be a Beetlejuice show.
It wouldn't, and they can easily make it. And you can even bring back whatchamacallit too. What's his name? Who played one of the ghosts?
It's one of the Baldwins.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah.
Alec,
there you go, Alec Baldwin. Because
his wife in the film too. Like they can bring them back too.
Oh shit, I forgot her name. But she's in The Fly.
Yeah, and she's been in a couple other films in the past. But Lena Davis. There you go. They got to bring those 5 people back to do a Beetlejuice movie because you can easily.
But I can't see Michael Keaton doing it though.
He would. He was open to the fact
back in Batman, I guess, though. But anyway, before you guys carry on, I got to jump off. Got a few things I need to do with the fridge and all in the freezer. So
Chris, it was good talking with you, man.
Yeah. Definitely go and catch up on your channel on YouTube.
And
I'm going to do it myself.
I know you got a channel, so I'll be going to subscribe and checking it out too. So
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you,
anyway,
thank you, Chris.
Enjoy the rest of this show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
my
speaking.
pleasure. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Thank you, Chris.
You have a good night, brother.
Ciao.
I think with me though, as far as Beetlejuice goes, I mean, I think it's doable. I think Michael Keaton still has it in him to do it. I mean, let's just go out and say this, man. Don't write it off because I never thought I'd see Michael Keaton as Batman again, and here we are making a new Flash movie, and he's going to be in it as Batman. So
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think that if they were to do a Beetlejuice, you have to have the nucleus. Like you said, the nucleus is Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Tina Davis, Winona Ryder, and Alec. Is it Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin. Yeah,
you have to. That's Beetlejuice.
And Alec Baldwin has gotten so much publicity in the last couple of years on Saturday Night Live with his Trump impersonation, which is
great,
hilarious. I haven't seen or heard anything from Lena Davis in a long time. I hope she's doing okay and everything. But Winona Ryder has been picking up some publicity again with Stranger Things.
We got to talk about that in the
and of course Michael Keaton's been keeping himself relevant with various projects. Obviously, most famously, he's been coming back and he's been getting in the superhero world again. He played the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah. One of his best roles I've seen him in a long time too. 2 best roles is Birdman and The Founder. Have you seen The Founder?
No, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, it's
about that movie.
It's the story of how McDonald's went corporate, and
my god,
he plays the guy who franchised McDonald's and made it to what it is today. The guy in real life, obviously, if you watch the movie, fucking asshole. But Michael Keaton, being the actor he is, fucking phenomenal in that film, dude. And it's a great film. But
I got to check this out.
He's still keeping relevant, is what I'm. And he's gonna be. Here's the thing too. He's gonna come. He's got a role in that new Marvel Sony movie, Morbius. And everyone keeps.
That was confirmed that he's in Morbius.
Yes, he was in the trailer. Okay. But everyone is assuming he's going to be playing the Vulture, and that's what's going to really tie in the multiverse and stuff.
Okay,
I am not. As much as I want to believe that, I'm not going to believe it until I finally see the film, because that's going to get, or another trailer that confirms it, because I've been let down with so many things in the past where I think it's one thing and it's not, so I'm not going to believe he's the Vulture until I get confirmation that until I see the film, So. But back to Michael Keaton, I think he's got one more run of Beetlejuice in him.
I think he does too.
I think how I would approach the story is Winona Ryder's all grown up now. Obviously, she's an adult. She's probably in her like late 30s, early 40s, I would say by now.
You're what? Because I don't want to say. I'll tell you what. Watch her in Stranger Things. She looks magnificent.
No, and I'm not saying she
Wow.
looks like shit or anything.
No. Because my
fantastic.
wife gave me this look. Like I'm like,
No,
oh, I know,
she looks fantastic for her.
she
age,
looks
and,
for her age.
Yeah.
to look the way she does. I
and
don't know if it's plastic surgery, but wow,
I don't know what she's doing, but
she
how
looks
I would
great.
approach the story now is, maybe she's lived in the house all her life now, and she's gotten really close with the ghosts, where she kind of treats them as more parent figures than her parents are, how we see them in the film. You know what I mean? And
Right.
maybe she's gotten married at that point, and she has kids
That'd
of
be
her
great.
own. And now it's the kids' turn to discover who her kids to discover who Beetlejuice is. And now that it's going to be a whole mission of Winona Ryder and her kids, and then the ghosts having to take down Beetlejuice again, like how they did in the first film. You know what I mean? So it'd be more of a maybe the same
kind of thing.
It'd be similar concept, but it would just be focusing around Winona Ryder growing up. Maybe she has a husband, and she has a husband that's either as weird as her or as skeptical as all this shit is, as her dad was.
That shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and her kids are growing up, and maybe one of the kids is like just like her, and the other kid is just like not believing it, and then she like gets really close with the one kid, and they talk about the ghost and Beetlejuice and stuff. So that's how I would approach the second film. Make it the same style and make it the same thing as the first film. Just, let's focus on maybe Winona Ryder now. She has a family of her own. Let's see how she does in that house now. Or maybe she moved out and she's returning to the house. She bought it back, as an adult. She moves her family into that house, and it's just happening all over again. So
exactly. So yeah, I looked at I'm sorry, we got off on a tangent here.
It's all good. Creep show.
Yeah. But I thought that Leslie Nielsen one was the best. I really did. Let's get to
the crate.
The crate. I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most brutal one I've ever. This is a story that will scare you. No end about it.
Yes.
It's brutal, it's gory, it's Tom Savini at his best.
Tom Savini, makeup artist, great fucking, not only that, great actor too. Another dream person I would love to have on the podcast. But that was one story that they brought to life at Halloween Horror Nights too, which was really
how was
cool.
that? I love to know that, because that story was just brutal. There was nothing about it.
Yeah,
it was. I didn't like. The only thing with that is I didn't like the spousal abuse fantasies thing, because that bothered me a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's that story is just brutal. There's nothing about it. Brutal.
When they brought it to life at Halloween Horror Nights, it was really cool because they showed the essential scene of the crate under the stairway, and the guy freaking out about it. No one believing him and shit. And then they actually had a full on scene of the crate on top of like this thing, this pedestal, and they had an actual scare actor dressed as the creature, and he was up high, so he would come over you and scare you, and it was like a room where you walked around the crate and into the next room. So he was in the center point, so you would see him, and he looked fucking bitchin', and that was one of the best scenes in that maze, in my opinion.
But you know that we call that animal Fluffy.
Yes, Fluffy is its name. That's always what.
Which I found hilarious about it, because everyone didn't know what the hell to call it.
Yeah,
they just called him Fluffy. I'm like,
yeah, no. That's how Murdy even called him. They called him Fluffy, so that was a lot of fun too. But
no, you can testify to this. That is a Yeti.
It looks like a Yeti.
It's a Yeti to me. I really do believe that.
Maybe
Yeti
it's a
the Yukon was a rip off of him.
Maybe it's a cross between a Yeti and a Bigfoot.
Oh, so that's why the Yeti at Mount Everest looks cool.
Yeah. And Bigfoot, Bigfoot's a fucking mystery of its own. So
I'm just saying, I mean, if Animal Kingdom could have a Yeti, I mean, they could have Terror the Yukon.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So no, it's a fun story though.
I love that story.
You put the nail on the coffin when you said this one will scare you. This one
will scare you.
Just thinking about it. Yeah.
There's no wimps about it. Adrienne Barbeau probably plays the worst bitch I've ever seen. Excuse me. I have seen a lot of evil women in my life in movies, but wow,
Yeah, it's pretty
she's bad.
pretty brutal, man. But
You've
I
seen it,
enjoy
right?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, Creepshow 1 is fucking fantastic, dude. And then to end it all, dude, I mean, you have that ending scene with Tom Savini has a cameo appearance in the film.
that was great. Oh, you
As
know
a
what?
trash
It
guy.
just Hearken to what I do as a living. And for those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, when Tom Savini is back there, that should be a hint to what I do for a living.
Right. I mean,
So,
and that whole
Mark
little
there.
with the little boy story that it really kicks off the whole movie of him reading
Yeah.
the comic book and then finding an ad in there for a voodoo doll and then using it against his dad because his dad won't let him.
I did not like that. I really did not.
I thought it was sadistic and evil, but at the same time, it was kind of a message because there are parents like that in the future that kids have fantasies and have dreams that
wild
they want to
imagination.
accomplish. Yeah, they want to accomplish a lot of things in life, but a lot of their parents are not on board with what they do.
I wrote
Luckily-
that in my notes. Do I feel like he was somewhat of abused?
Yeah,
I
I
wrote
think
that
that
in my notes, and I'm like, he used that as an scapegoat to get away
Yeah.
from the bullshit.
because from what we've seen, the mom was very supportive of what he did.
Right. And the dad was
And typically in films and stuff, you always see the mom character is always the more supportive character
you're
when
right.
it comes to when it comes to situations like that. But the
Mhm.
dad, has grown up in a family where all his life he's worked, and it should be like go to college, get a good job, make good money, and
Right.
he wants something better for his son, but the son wants to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And when he uses the voodoo against his dad, it was kind of like now I'm in control after all
Fuck
these years
you,
of you
Dad.
after all these years of you being in control, it's like now I'm finally in control. But no, I really like that what they did that because, like I said, there are a lot of families out there, and I've met a lot of people whose parents aren't supportive of what they do.
Right.
And it's a global message that needs to get out there where I think I've always told people shoot for the stars, go with what you want to do. And
right.
Nights of Horror, what I want to do with this channel full time, I would love to do this channel full time. I would love to quit my full time job that I'm working now and do Nights of Horror for full time, just creating content and podcast and all that. But until that happens, I have to do what I have to do to get around. You know what I mean? So, it just and I've been fortunate enough to have supportive parents who support what I do. There's been a lot of sacrifices in my life where I had to miss certain things during, and they both know during September, October is my busiest season where I'll be gone practically every weekend. I can't go to family events. I can't make family birthday parties. And I've made sacrifices in the past because I had to go film or do something. And even my mom was like telling me, she's like, we're going up to your grandma's house in October for, your stepsister's birthday and stuff. And I know you're going to be busy already. I just wanted to throw it out there if you can try to get the day off and go out there with us. And I was like, I'll try. I don't know where I'm going to be come time haunt season, but yeah, it's just I've had supportive parents, so they support me everything I do, and I tell them, and they really supportive of my channel, and they really supportive of what I do, and I'm very fortunate enough for them, and I love them to death for that.
Exactly. And this movie got a 4. I don't care if anyone wants to get pissed off at me. It was a good movie. It's good. Buy it, watch it. I don't care how you get it. Buy the fucking thing. But let's face it, he even said it. Before we get into 2, it was like Anthony said, we want to make this a full-time job.
Yeah.
But we're not making fucking millions of fucking dollars here.
Yeah.
While I respect guys like Nate Morrow is a good example, a guy that came from nothing, went through a lot of shit, and he's making it a full-time job.
Well,
Jack, same thing.
Another person that I kind of grew up watching in middle school, high school, and even I watch his content today. Adam the Woo. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I'm trying to think who that is.
He's a traveler usually, but he does YouTube full time, and he
I have to look at him again, but
he travels the country and stuff. But he's originally from Florida. Eventually he bounced around jobs. He was in a couple bands. He lived out of his van for the longest too. But he had full, he eventually dropped everything and decided to do YouTube for full time. And he was living out of his van for the longest, eliminating as much bills as he can. And Now he's at a point in his life where he's got like 500,000 subscribers. I watched him grow, by the way. I watched him go from like a couple thousand subscribers to now 100. Like he's at 500,000 subscribers.
Right.
And in his first channel, Adam the Woo, he would go visit abandoned locations and go sneak in places, and it was cool. And then he went full time on his vlogging channel, The Daily Woo, where he just goes to different theme parks or just documents his
He's
life
one
and
of the
stuff.
Boo Bros.
I wish, man, if we can get him on board.
Wow. Okay, because
Oh,
I think I have him. He's on the Art of Party, and I know who you're talking about.
Adam the Woo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he I wish he was a Boo Bro, man. I really do, but he travels everywhere, man, and I love the guy and watching his adventures and watching him grow. And it took him a good 15 to 10 years to do what he did just to get to the point where he's at now. So with a lot of time, a lot of effort, you know, we'll get there eventually. It took us 4 years now to just get to where we're at now, which is almost at 2,500 subscribers. And
Right, yeah.
I'm thankful for it every single day. Like
I
it's
laid down the
insane.
gauntlet a long time ago. If this fucking channel ever gets 100 subscribers, the day we leave, and I will say this right now, ladies and gentlemen, the day we leave, that Saturday before HHN, before the Orlando vacation, my wife will host the Art of Party, and I have laid down that gauntlet.
Yeah, that'd be fun, dude. I'd love to see that.
There you go. From now till next year, what is it? September 26th, we're leaving. That week, if we hit 100 subscribers, Melanie will host the Art of Party, and I have laid down that gauntlet.
There you go. I'm for it. Let's do it.
So there you go. And remember, everyone, excuse me, Anthony. Anthony already said we're still gonna do the fucking. That was a brainchild of mine, and I'm happy that you're up for the beer bash.
Yeah, dude. If I can make it out there, and you know, I have the the time out there. If I can't make it, I mean, I'll even shoot over. If you're gonna film it or something, I'll even shoot over a fucking video. Just just saying, hey, sorry I couldn't be there, but enjoy this. Have fun.
You have to. I mean, I got to the point a long time ago where it was just like, let's have fun for HHN. All these guys.
Yeah.
It's like they keep it too much. It's like it's a fucking fun time. It is. It's HHN. So
yeah.
The second review we did this week was Creepshow 2. I'm gonna run through this real fast because this sucked. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Old Chief Woodhead was really good. That's the one with the wooden chief. I thought that was really good.
Right.
That raft, I have no clue what the fuck it was. I don't know if it was toxic sludge or a poop monster. If you've seen Creepshow 2,
it's been so long, dude.
I know you haven't, but
yeah,
it's a puddle. What is it? Explain it to me. Is it a sewage monster? Is it an alien? Is it a dookie? I don't know. My primitive mind can't understand this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, help me. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah. I'm just going to cut it off to the chase. That Hitcher was okay. Stephen King made the best one line. It was a 3. So go with that.
The paper. I love it.
It was 3.
Let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights, man. I'm ready,
I know
man.
everyone waited for this. Let's get to the Halloween Horror Nights stuff.
I'm so ready, dude.
I pissed off. I know a lot of people are saying, when are they going to get the Halloween Horror Nights? This is how we program the Art of Party and live with it.
This is
all right.
I've been having a blast so far. So
thank you. We're going to have you back. We got to.
Hey, you know what? Let me know.
I'll hit you up on Instagram.
You know what? We'll get you on Mindless Horror too. So
my man. All right, let's get to this Halloween Horror Nights news. I know everyone was waiting for this, my reaction to all this shit, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's get to it. Halloween Horror Nights news. First up, they announced the 2 houses we got. We're going to do this separately. We got the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
1974
My thoughts
classic.
on this. Go ahead, Anthony.
I was just going to say it's a 1974 classic. I over here in Hollywood, the last time we had the 74 version was in 2012, and I never got to go through it.
No,
so
it is the 74 version.
It's the 74 version, yes.
Because when I went in 2007, they had the Carnival of Carnage at that point. Yes,
They
I
did
ripped
the-
that game off.
Was that the remake that they had at the time?
I'm assuming it had to be. It had
Yeah.
to be. It had
Which
to be at that
I
point.
did enjoy the remake too. 2003, 2004, the 2 they did, because it was a more brutal take on if they could have done it with the same technology and effects they had today, they probably would have done it that's probably how the movie would have ended up back in the day.
I saw
in
the
74.
remake. It was good. I liked it until that actor that played Leatherface spoke his mind about Gunnar Hansen. That's what pissed me off.
Oh yeah, that was But I mean, I liked how brutal they made Leatherface. In that film. That's exactly like I said. If they could have done that in 1974, it wasn't so low budget, they would have done it that way. That's how they would have done it. Yeah.
But he negates the fact of what he said. You fucking asshole. You sucked in the Rob Zombie movies. You sucked as Sabretooth.
Was he? He was Michael Myers in the zombie movies, huh?
Yes, he was, and I blame Rob Zombie for that because he's a cocksucker for him.
I like the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie. I don't like the second one.
I don't like either Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I'm glad that John Carpenter came in and run the reins of that, got rid of that. I heard that. You heard that story about that, right?
About him being mad about how they ended up or something? Or
yeah, he told point blankly, went up to Rob Zombie. He goes, no. You fucked my shit up. I'm taking it back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't ever touch my shit again.
I think he had a good... See, the reason why I like his first Rob Zombie Halloween film is because, it was very much in the style of Rob Zombie. And I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan to begin with, but...
Love the music, hate the movies.
Yeah.
House of the Thousand Corpses was good. We'll get into the House
Devil's
about
Rejects
that later.
I love Devil's Rejects.
I heard it was good. I like it.
But with his Halloween, the fact that I liked about it is he gave Michael Myers a backstory where we got an idea of how this kid turned out so fucking insane. Yeah, demented, insane, and why he was the way he was. Right. And they're obviously they picked up on the lore of the first two films of him being the brother of Laurie Strode. Okay. So they went really off that storyline. Obviously, we know that's been all scrapped since 2018 came out, and they're not even related. Even Carpenter has came out and said that he didn't even want to do Halloween 2 in the original time. Like the company the studio forced him to do it, and he got drunk and fucking wrote that script. And so he said he's come out and said the way Halloween 2018 was done, that's how he always envisioned the sequel for Halloween to be.
I believe it. It looks great.
And a big shout out to David Gordon Green and fucking Danny McBride. I'm a huge Danny McBride fan. But when I found out he was writing Halloween, I was like, you telling me the motherfucker from Eastbound and Down is writing Halloween? That doesn't make sense. And that goes full circle what we were talking about earlier of how comedians and horror has come. You've seen John Krasinski do both Quiet Place film movies. Fucking great films.
I'll tell you what, we're holding off on Quiet Place 2. We're going to get to that. Everyone, we did the review of Quiet Place 2, and that got 5 out of 1. I went into that movie. My brother told me, he goes, you got to watch this. I go, oh, fuck that. And we hold it off. He goes, watch this, review it. I go, okay. Yeah. So when I reviewed it, I went in there thinking that this was going to be bullshit. I left that, giving it fucking from 1 to 5 a 5. So we're holding off on A Quiet Place too. At this point.
He and both films are great. John Krasinski coming from The Office, comedian and shit. And then he does these movies like didn't know he had it in him. Same thing goes with Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele fucking comes out of the shadow, out of the nowhere, does Get Out. Fucking great film. And then does Us, another great film. Now he's working on his newest film and project. I think it's entitled Nope. That's going to be his next film project he's working on. But he's been.
Well, let me ask you a question about that real quick. Is he? Because I'm pissed off about this. Is he involved in the Candyman?
He produced it. He didn't direct it. He didn't write it. He's just an executive producer on it.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm pissed off about this because I have found out that it escapes my name.
By the way, did that come out already yet?
No, it's coming out
in August,
September. Right? Yeah, August, September, around there.
Yeah.
What pissed me off is that Tony Todd is not in there.
Yeah,
he's not the Candyman.
This is another movie I'll be waiting till it gets a digital
release. I have to. Because I'm very pissed off about that.
I already wasn't a huge Candyman fan. I like I like the concept, and I love Tony Todd. That guy is the fucking definition of horror right there. From his voice, the way he looks, and not only that, dude. I've watched podcasts and interviews. He is one of the nicest fucking people in the world.
I've heard
he loves what he does, and he's just a nice fucking kind soul, dude. And for to hear that and to see the roles that he plays, especially like everyone either knows him from you either know him from Candyman or you know him from Final Destination. You know what I mean? Like, because even though he didn't have big roles in Final Destination, he always was that creepy character. Like, you kind of suspected maybe he was theorizing, like maybe he secretly was death and was letting them know, like, you can't cheat me. Like, it's like it comes around and shit, But he is a phenomenal actor, and I don't know. I just this new movie, when I saw the trailers for Candyman,
I was not impressed.
It didn't catch my attention.
Nope. I mean,
but I'm hoping it blows me away. Honestly, like I really do. Did I lose you? I think I lost him. I think we're getting a little bit of lag here. I don't know who's on whose end we're getting lag. You gotta love a live show.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, yeah, we're back. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I was gonna say you gotta love live. You gotta love live, man. You never know.
Yeah, really. It is what it is. That pissed me off when when they told me he was going to be Candyman. I go, what the fuck? I mean, first of all, let's face it. That's a Chicago lore here.
Yeah.
So I have a little grudge if you're going to fuck that up. And second of all, the way they shot it to where it is from 95 to where they shot it now, totally different.
Yeah.
And I grew up in that era.
And it's a full on reboot at this point. We know that. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Candyman. I do like the first film, but like the sequels and stuff, I couldn't get behind.
How do you feel about the rumors of that being a house next year?
It was almost going to be a house. I heard rumors.
Chris is back. Hold on, everybody. I'm sorry, Anthony.
He's back. He got through his freezer.
He's back.
It was almost going to be a house. I heard rumors.
He's watching the stream.
I was, yeah.
You want to get out, Chris, or no?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm using my phone, so it'll be fine.
Anthony, how did you feel? How did you feel about that rumored of that being a house this year?
I felt it almost. There's a lot of rumors about it being a house, and if it was going to be a house, I was gonna hope and pray that they were gonna do the original film. Because I really can't. Like I said, I can't get behind this new one. Wasn't a fan of the sequels. I really only liked the first film.
Same here.
And we talk about Candyman now, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I couldn't get behind the fact that that would get a house at Horror Nights, only because they would probably do it off the newer one just to get hype around the film. And if they were going to do it as a house, I would want to see it as the original, the first one. And it's famous. It's tradition around here that usually when we do a lot of properties and whatnot, we always have a lot of the actors and filmmakers come out and walk through the experience to see what they thought about it. So I would have loved to see like Tony Todd walk through it and see what he would have thought about it. You know what I mean? Now it's like he's played the role, he's brought it to life. Now let's see what he thinks about a real life scenario.
How is it now? Yeah.
Yeah. So, if they were going to do a Candyman maze, my thing is I hope they do the original film. If not, I mean, I'll go through it. Maybe it will blow me away. Maybe I'll like it more than the actual, because there's been times I walked through things and I've liked it more than the movie. So
we were talking about it. I was saying like, you brought up the, you guys were supposed to get Beetlejuice. How do you feel about The Exorcist coming back?
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. You're going to get the exclusive right here, right now.
Go ahead.
Because I have not.
Somehow they're rebooting it from the second film, aren't they?
No. Go ahead, Anthony. I got it.
So
I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
So, I listen. I love The Exorcist. I think it's still one of the scariest movies to this date, and it set the bar for horror going forward. It really did.
I totally agree. Can't disagree with you.
Yeah, it is what they did in the 70s with that film and the effects they did and everything, and to hear the horror stories behind, it's considered a cursed film.
Yeah, you know what, funny, before you jump in it, I have to jump in it. My mum went to watch it when it was in the cinema in the 70s. In Liverpool, England, yeah?
Right.
And she said to me that there were dozens and dozens of priests outside the cinema.
It was the same thing in the States. My uncle had a funny story as when he went to go see it afterwards that there was a room reminiscent to like what her window looks like outside, and they looked up at it and they were fucking terrified. But there's no movie to this day that makes me feel uncomfortable than that does.
I enjoyed it, but I
no.
saw the comedy value of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny scenes, like the shit she says, and there, it's a little funny, but fuck, dude, what they did with that movie in the 70s was it was unheard of.
Can you imagine being a person, old enough to go and watch it in the 70s?
Dude, because in today's generation, you see that movie and kids will be like, "That's not scary,"
Oh shit! I'm still scared at that movie.
If you're a diehard horror fan, you appreciate the art as what it is to what it did to the horror community. That set the bar for horror films going forward.
Do you go to bed easily that night in the 70s if you watched that for the first time?
No, you won't. You won't, because and to this day, I have a rule that if she comes up on my feed for something, if I see a video on YouTube, I will skim past it in bed, because I cannot do that before. And so going back to what Hornet, we had this maze in 2016.
Yeah, I heard about that. Was it 2016 that it's an older maze?
Yeah, it's a recycled maze, so it's fucking the only difference, and the only reason I'm a little excited about it this year is because they're gonna put it in a soundstage this year, and I'm like, okay, that's gonna be fun.
Wow, okay.
But there you go. There's another maze I got announced for Horror Nights in Hollywood. It was The Exorcist. But my issues with this is, like, you could have chose any other recycled property, any other recycled property ever, and done something better. Like, I would have took. It's gonna be a little stereotypical for every party in here. An American Werewolf in fucking London.
I heard that was actually good.
I fucking love that film, dude. I think I
heard it was good. That was what 20.
Now, okay,
they
Chris.
Did it in Orlando.
Now talk.
Hold on, we're going back here now when we come to this film.
We're going all the way to the very for America. John Landis, American Werewolf in London.
Okay, yeah, okay. I can get on board with that.
Now, what was that maze? That was
2015.
15. Okay, so they had it in Hollywood and over there at Universal, right?
Yes. And now, Chris, you may know more about this than I do because you live out there. A lot of the stuff that they filmed for that movie, was it actually on location in London?
Yeah, most of it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And it must be cool if you live out there. I don't know if you ever have, but anyone that lives out in that area, to go see those filming locations because they're so iconic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And such a fucking fantastic. But that also set the bar for werewolf movies. That was like the first werewolf movie that you saw a full blown transformation of a werewolf.
Yeah.
Of the body, limbs, and everything stretching out, and that was never seen before. Yeah, and that to this day, that movie is one of my favorite fucking films of all time. It's such a great film, and
did Michael J. Fox do?
You're thinking of Teen Wolf.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Another great '80s film too. I love Teen Wolf. It's a fucking great film. But American Werewolf in London, dude. I mean, that made me like. So if I go to London, I could become a werewolf. Fuck yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
I don't know if you become a werewolf. You become different things in London. It's an interesting city. I'll tell you that.
I need to go to the exact places they went in that film just to get attacked by a werewolf to become a werewolf at that point, huh? And yeah, but that movie's phenomenal, and the whole, like, they try to do American Werewolf in Paris and it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucked balls. That sucked donkey balls.
That was a fair few years after, though.
Yeah, and they tried to do a sequel to it and it just didn't work out. And you can't really do a sequel to American Werewolf. I think it ended perfectly. You had a Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater, one of the greatest great song right there. So you hear that song and the Slaughtered Lamb and all that fun stuff, and so it was a fun move. So that I would rather take that over there. My problem with The Exorcist is there's not much you can do to change that maze up because the whole
you really can't. I mean, I already. What's his name? That guy, that cheesy pop guy. He went there at the at Halloween Horror Nights out there. I think it was 2019. I'll tell you what I was impressed by was, and I'm a fat fuck. I'm just gonna say this right now.
You're not the only one. Look, do you want to see my belly? I'm fat fuck as well.
You guys, I'll tell you what. When I saw that, me and Mel watched that Slimer dog. Oh man! Yeah. Did you have it, Anthony?
I did.
How was it?
It was delicious.
Okay, before we even get into anything, what is the difference between Orlando's. I know you haven't been there, but Orlando's HHN food compared to your guys' HHN food?
Well, for starters, Orlando has something that I've been meaning to try, and I might actually get to try this year called pizza fries.
You know what?
Famous over there.
I'm going to throw this out right now.
Pizza fries is in what? Pizza and fries and pizza.
It's fries with pizza toppings.
I
and
will
marinara and all that.
Here.
You could do that. No.
My brother will kill me if I do not have those pizza fries. I'm a dead man. Don told me.
I guess they're so good at the theme park though. But over the pandemic, our buddy Hauntline did a fun video where he actually remade and created and made some of his own pizza fries. Right. He did like a Halloween video, where he just created a lot of like the famous theme park Halloween themed foods. So it was a lot of fun to see him do that. But yeah, anyone can make pizza fries.
With these pizza fries,
they're apparently good.
About them. Everyone wants these pizza fries. What the fuck is with them?
Something that was fun that we did over here in Hollywood was we did something called Throwback 80s Thursday. So it was an 80s throwback to the whole thing was covered with 80s music. The top portion was metal. When you went down the escalators, there was a lot of your 80s pop hits and stuff. Beetlejuice hosted the event. They had an actual live band come and play music on Thursdays, a tribute band to play a bunch of 80s music. But talking about food, every Thursdays they had a different flavored churro.
Oh, okay.
So the one Thursday that I actually got to go, they had an apple cinnamon flavored churro.
Oh, did you hear that? An apple cinnamon flavored churro.
Oh,
so think of like
chocolate was like the churro thing. Like
it is
big. It's big
out here too. Yeah,
but, and even in Orlando.
I only know it through MasterChef USA. So I don't.
I was gonna say. If you want to give everyone props for chocolate, it's gonna be the Dutch, man. The Dutch fucking what they do with chocolate is.
Well, I might have to disagree because I've been obviously to Holland, but it's okay. You want to go Belgium if you want to go chocolate.
Belgium is another big Belgium has really, from what I heard, really good chocolate.
But my thing is this: these fucking pizza fries are legendary. What the fuck is with them? And here's my caveat with that. They're in a fucking kid zone. That's what I can't understand. My mind is blown.
They get the best, don't they? They get the best. Kids always get the best things.
I've heard from at Louis they were better than the year before. So I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I will. You know what? And I'll probably come back on the show and after I've had them this year, and I can give you my senses of what I think about them. If they're overhyped, if they're good, we'll find out. I'll see what's up.
I'm still blown away with that. The twisted taters is another fucking thing. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know a lot of the foods they have out there.
Things. You just need some chips, cheese, and a bit of gravy, and then you're sorted. Like,
hey, listen,
chips, cheese, and gravy.
I'm excited for
chips, cheese, and gravy, man. It's a northern thing up here in the UK. Yeah.
Oh, really?
There's a lot, and that's the thing too. Another thing why I want to travel so much because everywhere you go, there's a specific food that. Like, okay, obviously, and I don't mean to be stereotypical or anything, but a lot of the things you hear in overseas and London and stuff is fish and chips. That's huge over there.
Yeah. Me and Albert, we spoke about this, right?
Because,
and Diagon Alley. I know I was going to catch shit for that one.
No, it's just
not me. That's J.K. Rollins making that bullshit.
No, and that's why I want to get your sense about it. Like, okay, you hear that stereotypically in films and stuff. What's the deal? Is that an actual thing that happens there or not really?
Yeah, but it's like when Albert and Don, Don's one of our other hosts on the show.
Right.
They used to make me go tea and crumpets and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, that is so like
cinema
bullshit. Yeah, it is. Because, you know what I mean? I drink coffee. I have tea now and again, like, but I don't have crumpets.
In reality, is tea a big thing over there too, or no?
Yeah, but it is. Like, you know what I mean? I think you'll find that a lot of people will probably drink more coffee because everyone works their asses off, like, and coffee's they kick up the arse in the morning, isn't it? Like Anthony, you work at 6 o'clock in the morning, like I do. Is
right.
You have a coffee. I'm not having a tea. A tea's not going to give me a wake up call like a coffee would. Like
fun fact too. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I'll drink it, but I don't drink it religiously. Yeah. I am more the give me a Mountain Dew.
I can't wait to try that Joffrey's coffee out there in Orlando.
Give me a Mountain Dew and I'm ready to go for the day. So
go to your fish and chips. Yeah, fish and chips are really good. Where I live in Wales, I live on the coastline. So you know what I mean by the coastline, yeah?
Yeah.
If you go to somewhere in the UK that's got a coastline, you get fresh fish. So everything's fantastic. If you go into the cities, it's all transported, so it's not as nice.
Yeah. So one of my and you probably will either love me or hate me for this, Chris, but one of my favorite chefs is Ramsay. I love Gordon Ramsay.
I don't hate it, mate. Listen, I watch Hell's Kitchen. I watch MasterChef.
I'm trying not to be stereotypical here.
Hold on, guys. I want you to read this post real quick.
Stereotypical because at the end of the day, Gordon Ramsay's a big thing. Like the thing is, you move to America because you're the better audience than they are in the UK.
Perfect evolution of beards. We got Scrub, we got growing, and we got another good one too.
I ain't growing my beard. I'm sorry, my man. I'm not growing my beard to the winter. So I'm waiting for that. The Art of Partying winter beard.
But Gordon Ramsay, dude, I love. He's got a show he does where he goes around the world and tries different dishes that are famous over there.
It's on Disney, actually. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fucking like it's so fascinating to see.
Is he censored on Disney or no?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
He's not going to be
because with this show though, he doesn't really have to necessarily. There's no really. Yeah. There's no. It's about him going to different parts of the world. Yeah. He's mostly learning to see what the traditional dishes around there, so he could cook it himself and try it. So it's more of a educational thing, if you will.
Yeah, I just need to swear all the fucking time. And listen, I said to you this at the top of the show. As Brits, we do swear a lot. He's obviously Scottish, don't forget. Yeah, he just doesn't have the accent.
So now that you brought up swearing, I got to ask you because I've watched. I'm a huge Simon Pegg guy. I love the Cornetto trilogy, and I love all that. I need to know a couple of these if these are actual cuss words in the UK.
Yeah.
One of them that I love so much that I do with a lot of people all the time, and they don't understand the references, but jog on. Is that as bad as it sounds?
No, you know what it means. If you're saying to me, give me shit.
Yeah.
And people would say to you, "Oh, just go away."
Yeah. Jog on.
That's what jog on means. Jog on, mate.
Because they make it sound way worse in the Hot Fuzz than it actually is. But it's hilarious when he says it.
That movie. That movie was awesome, dude.
That's what it means, though. It's like instead of saying
we did a review of Hot Fuzz. That's great.
And of course, I hear this one on Harry Potter a lot from Ron Weasley, but Bloody Hell. That's a big one too.
Yeah, but you must have watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, no?
That too, yeah.
Yeah, well, one of Spike's big phrases were bloody hell.
Yeah.
Don't lie. You say that all the time.
Yeah, and I do as well. Yeah, but bloody hell is a case of what the fuck. So instead of saying what the fuck, it's bloody hell.
I think bloody hell sounds a lot more, especially to use it in a more professional way. You know what I mean? Like
if you've got the Cockney accent like Spike.
Well, my whole thing with Harry Potter is like every time you see Ron on screen, all you hear is bloody hell, Harry, and I'm just like. Yeah, I'm about to do a bloody hell counter every movie he's in. So
that really what it is instead of saying what the fuck, it's bloody hell. I use it all the time, though, mate. I say it all the time. Or Jesus Christ is another one. Instead of saying bloody hell, if you say something like it's a bit like whoa, I'll go Jesus Christ.
One last thing before we move on to that, but I think I have to just do a sit down session with you just to learn, because I watch so many British films, TV, and I want to know what's fucking bullshit in film and what's actually
Anytime, you can hit me up, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, mate, and I'll come on your show and I'll phrase it all. I got
a podcast called Shoot the Shit where we could just literally shoot the shit. So
yeah, I'll do that for you, mate. No problem.
Let's do it. Yeah. What we got, Albert? We're running out of time. We lose him.
I don't know. Is he?
We lost his audio.
Yeah, he has. He's got.
Well, you're on mute. There we go. You're on mute, buddy.
Albert, you're muted. Albert, we can't hear you.
Can't hear. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds important.
This is like when you watch the BBC about 1 o'clock in the morning, and you've got some sort of person who speaks to deaf people. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Albert, we can't hear you, mate.
We can't hear you.
I got you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
You've turned your big
I'm sorry.
dildo on, though.
After this, I'm because it's gonna rain real fast. I'm gonna probably take this in the house and we're gonna call it a night. But then I'm gonna hang out with these guys for a little bit more.
So,
you guys ready for the after party?
Yeah, I'll probably move. I'll move to my computer. The missus is not in a. Missus gone somewhere else.
Anthony, I'm gonna hang out with Anthony after this. But what do we got next? I'm gonna talk to him about the speculation map. I'll probably record it later. But you know, they leaked that Welcome to Scary Tales thing. I think that was a little ridiculous. They should have just left it alone. And I'm not gonna call
Cary, Ohio, man. I love the mystery behind that, dude. That's great.
I know. I'm not gonna call anyone out on that. You shouldn't have linked it. Stop it.
Right.
You know, that was bad. And then we have obviously The Bride.
Oof, I'm excited for this one. This is my most hype
That's
maze.
the one I really believe that got fucked up by the COVID.
I'm excited for it because we are getting every year since Universal Monsters started. Slash has been generous enough to bless us with a new score, and I am super excited to see what he comes up with Brides. And it's a Hollywood exclusive, which I'm very thankful for. And Murdy and Slash are working together, and being with the pandemic, he probably knew about this.
Did this?
Slash does all the music for all of our Universal Monster mazes. Yeah. And the music is
in yours. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we have to end this. I'm gonna record the last bit of it because it's starting to rain. So I'm sorry. We have to end it now, but we're gonna hang out, party some more. So that's the art of partying. We will see you guys next week.
Thank you, Anthony, for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me.
I promise we're gonna record the after party after this, but thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.